I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
True Green. Stop doing it yourself and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way from the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Sign up today at truegreen.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Short-term memory loss.
I don't remember. What was the reason I gave for earlier?
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I don't remember what you said. You think I remember the reason?
Ironclad sources.
One of the biggest haters in my life, my wife. My wife. She will even vouch for that story.
And spontaneous karaoke.
New additions like Ronnie, Bobby,
Ricky and Mike.
If I like a girl who can cool it down.
Slow it down.
Watch out, I'm gonna lose control.
It's Stokley and
Schlereth will be here in just about an hour. Richie, what's up, dude? Glad
What's
to be
going on,
hanging out for the guys today.
Yeah, it's fun. Listen, we got golf on the TV. The sun will be up sooner than normal, right? We're getting back to, even though this has been like the least wintry winter of my life, you know. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited to be here.
I am too. I actually think the springing forward hurts the sun, though. I think the sun would have been up in like 20 minutes last week. I think we got to wait till about 7:15 this morning to get the sun to rise.
Does it stay lighter longer then? I was like, you pick it up on one end.
You get it at night.
Well, one thing you're going to learn about me is I'm always just about 6 inches left of center. Like, I'm close. I'm close. We had this when I was sitting in that chair last week. We were talking about I was talking to Stokley, and I'd seen this tweet from Chris Bianchi that was talking about the end of spring, right? And it was that day that I was in there. I'm like, hey, or the start of spring, excuse me. I'm like, hey, we made it. See, 6 inches. And Stokley's like, are you sure about that? And I'm like, well, Chris Bianchi, you know, I saw it, whatever. And I was educated that there's a difference between meteorological spring starting and actual spring starting with like the vernal equinox. Ty, thank you, Ty, had to educate me of that. So I feel like I'll get you 85% of the way there, but I need somebody to close that 15 before we're 100% accurate.
All right, sounds good. Well, I think we got about an hour and 10 minutes till we see the sun this morning, but it's good to be here. Plenty to get to. Obviously, the Broncos made a handful of minor moves yesterday that we will dive into. The Nuggets got a huge win last night over the Rockets, and the Avalanche, man, it is Stanley Cup or bust now more than ever. But you and I hanging out this morning, I know the text line's already going to ask, where's Mike? Where's Stoke? Love those guys. Love being here for them. Love working with them. But also they deserve a vacation here and there. I got to say, though, today reminded me and you kind of looking around going, where is Mike Evans? Have we
done that before?
Yes, we have had an experience like this. I'll give you the floor because I actually think you have an even better perspective on it than I do. But it was about 9 months ago, Richie. The U.S. Senior Open was down at the Broadmoor, and we got invited to go play a practice round down in Colorado Springs, one of the greatest golf courses in Colorado. You and I played with our guy, Anilo Piro, and, I mean, they had the grandstand set up. That was cool. You know, you're about to have the U.S. Senior Open, and I'm hitting my 8-iron into the grandstands. Like, well, this is why they don't let me play with fans here. But what happened with our good friend Mike Evans that day?
Well, naturally, Will, anyone like you or I, or most people in general, when given the opportunity, regardless of whatever the occasion that's calling for it is, in this case it was the Senior Open, when you get an opportunity to put a foursome together to play at the Broadmoor, you do it. I mean, it's not something that you pass up or that I even really have to think twice about. So we did. It was going to be you, me, our guy Anilo Piro, and Mike Evans. and we were all going to go down there and play and do the media kind of coverage for the Senior Open before the event. So we all separately drove down there. We've got our clubs. We sat through, some of the media introductory stuff, and it's beautiful.
We got served food.
Unbelievable. Yeah, had a whole spread and all the, little swag pieces, and everything was just top notch. They rolled out the red carpet. So our tea time was 1:00, and we like most men, I feel like we don't really have like a super strict whatever it is itinerary. It's just like, hey, we're gonna go do our thing. Some of us had different responsibilities. I filmed one of my shows. And Nilo was going around doing social media coverage. Bop bop bop. Everyone's kind of socializing, doing their own thing. It's like, hey, we'll meet at the tee box a little bit before 1, and we'll go. Well, now it's a little bit before 1, and I did not get to eat with everybody else because I was doing my show and all that. So I raced over to the food area, scarfed down a couple plates of a buffet on the patio before we were about to hit this thing. And I am one of those people, though, that, like, from a planning perspective, like, all right, it's 5 minutes out. I want to know where everybody is. I want to know what's going on because I want to, leave smoothly. So I'm reaching out to Anilo. I get a hold of you and all that. And I think it was you that came up to me and were like, have you seen Mike Evans? And I'm like, come to think of it, Will Peterson, I have not. Nope. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll call him. You know what I mean? Because Mike is, Mike has a little bit of that Zach By in him where, like, I'm going to roll up 90 seconds before whatever it is, and I'll be fine. It's like I was never even a close call. So I love the Zach drops. So I text Mike, hey, where you at? I wish I had thought of this earlier, because I think I'd probably, if I scrolled back far enough in my text to Mike, I could still find the exact verbiage. I text Mike and he's like, what? And I'm like, where are you at? What are you talking about? I'm like, am I being punked right now? What's happening? And so we're having this full-blown exchange, 3-4 texts of like, hey, we're at the tee box, we're at this, and he's like, cool. Like, why? Basically the tone over text and eventually over the phone, because I called him from the golf cart of like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, why are you talking to me right now? And I'm like, maybe Mike Evans isn't that nice of a guy. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's just a jerk. And it turns out, ultimately, Mike Evans has such great things going on for him in his life, and he has reached such an elevated level of status that he forgot he even agreed to play at the Broadmoor. Like, it was not even a big enough thing on his radar, whereas like you and I were excited about it for a week. We like planned it out. I had my clothes laid out on the bed the night before, and he was like, oh yeah, darn, I forgot about that. So we ended up obviously not golfing with him. The three of us had a great time, and yeah, Mike Evans had an opportunity to play 18 at the Broadmoor for free. Red carpet rolled out, and he was like, yeah, let's let the underlings take care of that. And we did.
We did. And it was so quirky, man, because my memories of it were Hale Irwin, who's a multiple-time major champion, was there speaking to us. And I texted Mike, hey, where are you at? Hale Irwin's here. And Mike's like, oh, that's neat. That was like all his response. Mike thought we were in some corporate meeting here at the office and was like, why did Bonneville and DenverSports and KYGO and Cozy bring in Hale Irwin? Like, he was so confused. And then everything made sense in retrospect of like, no, we're all at the Broadmoor. And oh, by the way, Mike, you just passed up an opportunity to play a course that was set up for a Senior Open championship.
Right.
And it was, like you said, gorgeous, spectacular. I remember on like hole 17 for us, not on the cart because we did a shotgun start. I think we started on 14 or something. You hold out from like 30 feet.
Crazy.
And we were like the last group out there, and the dude's coming to like try to collect the flag stick. And Anilo looks at me and goes, should I putt it too? I'm like, nah, dog.
No.
Richie just made it. We're going to let the guy get the flag stick.
I was going to say, and there's nothing
here.
Worse than that pressure, right, of like a greenskeeper or like a worker from the course, like kind of like rushing you and subtly urging you on, like, you already kind of know you don't belong there, but now you know that they know you know.
Right.
And yeah, so to hit it in that moment was fun. We had a great time. And the next time, if I ever am fortunate enough to get offered to golf at the Broadmoor again, regardless of the Senior Open or not. I, unlike Mike Evans, will happily take it.
He will always be the guy that forgot about golfing at the Broadmoor. All right, it's Will and Richie with you for the next 4 hours. Mark Schlereth will be here in 50 minutes. Looking forward to catching up with Stink. But we begin next with a huge win for the Nuggets last night at Ball Arena. How badly did they need a laugher? Richie and I will dive into it.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K Bracket Challenge, presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hanging out recently with my guy Jeff from Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic at a Avs game recently. Mostly just hung out. We watched hockey, but we did talk a little business. Had to talk a little business with Jeff. And mainly I want to know what kind of feedback he gets from men who come to Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic to get their erectile dysfunction treated. And Jeff said the most common answer is, why did I wait so long to do this? Not surprised. Most men will wait a year or more, even though they know that something isn't right. Doesn't need to be that way. ED is a medical condition. Like many medical conditions, can be treated. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic has treatments with success rates well over 90%. They've successfully treated thousands of men for over a decade now. And if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to the sex, intimacy, and love that bring you closer together. Schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Initial cost is just $99. You'll get a and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose does not work, your office visit is free. 5 locations to better serve you, including Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and a new and improved office in The Rock. Call 720-440-7900 and at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
High five! Up top!
Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Heck yeah!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Yes!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Hey guys, your boy Snake here. Just because it's winter doesn't mean I'm sitting around waiting for the spring. I'm planting the yard, moving dirt, getting things ready for what's next. My friends at Beaux-Arts Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, they're doing their cleaning right now too. It's the Not So Winter event. Between everyday driving, busy schedules, and everything life throws at you, your vehicle works hard. And if you've been thinking about upgrading, now's the time to clean up your driveway and drive something new. Only at Beaux-Arts Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet. The Not So Winter event going on right now.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, two-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health.
Score big. Save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. A lot of new firms aren't even from Colorado, but we are. For 47 years, we've known Colorado law, we've fought for our neighbors, and we won for our community. If you've been injured, call 303-GOOD-LAW.
Names that rhyme, takes that hit different. Shapiro and Piro. Is happy hour sports talk built for the modern fan? Local stories, hidden gems, and the mustache monologues you never knew you needed. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel. Subscribe now at Denver Sports 1043 and get in on the action. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan. Passive aggression.
Oh, Mark. Sweet, naive, childlike Mark.
Culinary techniques.
So you got the crawfish, you got the tail, you pinch, twist, and some people like to slurp it. You're a slurper.
And backhanded apologies.
You know what? I would like to officially apologize to you, Mike. You were right. I was wrong. You're smart. I'm dumb. You're skinny. I'm fat.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
Hope your Thursday is off to a good start. You're getting closer and closer to the weekend. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans. Hanging out with Richie Carney. Mark Schlereth be here very shortly. Dennis in Green Mountain chimes in on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. The Fan Morning Show slogan, quote, someone will be on the air talking Colorado sports. Yes, those someones happen to be Richie and I today. And Dennis, I know you're having a little fun, but come on, man. I haven't been here in a while because football season, these dudes were here all day, every day. A little well-earned vacation in the lull between the NBA and the NHL playoffs and the end of football season. And speaking of the NBA playoffs, Richie, oh, man, the West gets tighter and tighter. Looking at the standings now, the Rockets 40-25, the Lakers 40-25, the Nuggets 40-26, and the Timberwolves 40-26 for the 3 through 6 seeds in the Western Conference. And that, of course, is all possible based on what we saw at Ball Arena last night. Nuggets absolutely thrashed the Rockets, 129-93, a 36-point laugher. I'll ask you, how badly did the Nuggets need a laugher and need a blowout last night?
So badly. I mean, this is a team that, in terms of preseason expectations and what we saw compared to what has transpired, it can't be much more of a 180, right? I mean, we saw coming off of the, I want to say unprecedented in a sense of the timing, dismissals of Michael Malone and Calvin Booth with 3 games left in a regular season, and then, you know, David Adelman handling that postseason run in the interim and then being handed the keys to this Lamborghini that is a championship contending Denver Nuggets team, which drew its own kind of skepticism or question or at least curiosity. And then to watch Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace as co-executive VPs, another decision that drew some curiosity, speculation, questioning, kick the door down with guns blazing and ship out Michael Porter Jr., something that we had thought for a long time was just not possible with this Nuggets team because of the way that Kroenke and company kind of have run things and their loyalty to the homegrown, home-developed talent. Ship out MPJ for Cam Johnson, which at the time all of us were like, how could there be downside here? Cam Johnson's going to be at worst a net even with MPJ and probably give you better on the defensive end or as a passer, create his own shot, etc. Bringing in Jonas Valanciunas, bringing back Bruce Brown, signing Tim Hardaway Jr. It was like, this is the Thanos Infinity Stones. Like, they are about to blow the doors off of this NBA season. And we got, 10 games maybe at the start of the season with that lineup, and they looked amazing. They looked great. And then just the injuries, one after the other, to the point where we're watching them play the Philadelphia 76ers with 0 of their 5 starters, without 2 of their reserve players. They somehow won that game, but whatever. And it's just been a slog, and all of the hype and the excitement had just kind of drained out of me, at least personally. I won't speak for all of Nuggets Nation, but slowly but surely it was just kind of like, man, I just don't see it. They feel snake bitten. They feel this, they feel that. And this was the first game, certainly post-All-Star break for me, because they lost 6 of 10 going to the All-Star break. This was the first one for me where it was like, there it is. There's the team that when we went into the start of this season said, hey, they can beat any team in the NBA in a 7-game series. Will they, won't they? Remains to be seen. But what we saw against Houston last night, a Western Conference contender in their own right, showed to me they've still got life in them, and they're not going to lay down on the mat for anybody in the postseason. It'll just be a matter of whether or not they can close the deal.
Yeah, I thought last night in the third quarter was one of the best Nuggets quarters of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they desperately needed that. And this is why I can't quit them as a title contender, Richie, because deep down a championship team is still in there, and they proved that last night. I mean, listen, Christian Brown was excellent. He scores 19 on a wildly efficient 8 of 10 shooting. Cam Johnson, who you mentioned came over in the Michael Porter Jr. trade, has been an absolute disappointment. Made 6 of 9 shots, including 3 of 5 threes. Nikola Jokic was ridiculous. Another triple-double in only 30 minutes, 16, 13, and 12. They, last night, took it to a Houston team that was on a second half of a back-to-back, and they just stole their soul. They just ripped it out of them. You could see as that third quarter was going on that Houston had no interest in finishing that basketball game. And for all their struggles in the clutch, obviously last night wasn't a clutch game, so I thought that was huge. But I just thought for the state of the mental state of the basketball team, they needed a game to sort of deep breath, exhale. We are good. We are good. And they finally got that last night for the first time in a long time.
Will, we talked ad nauseum, or we have this season, about Cam Johnson from a confidence perspective, right? His shoulders are slumped. His body language is terrible. His posture and his voice in interviews, post-game, or whatever these availabilities are, you can just tell he's dejected in a lot of ways. He certainly didn't look that way last night. Christian Brown has dealt with elements of that as well over the course of his season, where he's not having a performance, week to week that lives up to the contract that he was given. But it really has kind of permeated around the Nuggets as a whole. I think missing Aaron Gordon and Payton Watson, when you're hearing Nikola Jokic talk about how things are alarming or things are concerning, Jamal Murray talking about we just got to get healthy. It's just like there was like a defeatist tone or mentality to them, and none of that was present from any of them last night. And it's not just in the fact that they were able to convert on scoring chances more efficiently, or they played a little bit more energized defense. There's just something about the visual component of watching them last night that in flashes and stretches of that game reminded me of the title team. In particular, I felt like there was a lot more transition scoring chances than what we're used to seeing. And that was another thing that when David Adelman was kind of officially given the reins or the keys to this car, it was, well, we're not going to be as much of a run and gun team like we were with Malone. And that was kind of Christian Brown's secret sauce that helped him become like, an incredible 6-man piece on that title team. He fit so perfectly into that. It was like, hey, we're going to slow things down. We're going to be better in the half court, because that's where in the postseason and in crunch time things are won. But I got to be honest with you, Will, when I'm watching them play the Rockets last night and Christian Brown is back to catching, full court outlet passes from Nikola Jokic, and Cam Johnson is getting give and go opportunities, to hit wide open 3-pointers, I'm like, why can't we do this more? I understand what we thought the plan was and what we said we were going to do going into the season, but that performance last night, particularly from Christian Brown, but also from the other members of the core that are still here, reminded me of the title team, where I just thought, hey, it's, they might give up a few buckets where you're like, okay, they were a traffic cone defensively, but you better be on your ass getting back on defense, because they're about to throw a full court pass and get it back anyways.
Yeah, no, it was a different style of basketball last night. And to hold an opponent to 93 points, that's pretty rare for this version of the 2025-26 Nuggets. It made me feel like I can close my eyes, Richie, and picture a parade this summer. And I know the text line's going to say you're overreacting to one win. I get it. But can you close your eyes and picture a parade this summer still? I haven't counted the Nuggets out yet. A lot of people have. With a result like we saw at Ball Arena, can you imagine Nuggets Nation gathering downtown in mid to late June for a championship parade?
Yeah, I can imagine it. I don't want to be hyperbolic and say because of what we saw last night, it's like, hey, cancel your vacation or do anything like that. I do believe that contender, like you said, is still in there. But we need to see it in more than one game, and we need to see it against a team that's not on a back-to-back. And frankly, it's something I would have loved to have seen against the Thunder when they had the chance to do it just a handful of days ago.
Yeah, definitely. But one win, they'll turn around and play again tonight in San Antonio here in about 12 hours. Crazy NBA scheduling. The Broncos made 3 moves yesterday. Yes, 3 moves. Do any of those names excite us? We'll dive into it next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/Superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
If you're in love, you're invited to Williams Jewelers Bridal Fest with our special guest, Takori, March 17th through Saturday, March 21st. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Bruce Williams. Come see the latest from Takori and the best diamond prices of the season.
Shop over 500 of the latest Takori engagement rings and wedding band styles, fresh from California.
Plus, listen to this. 3/4 carat diamonds from just $26.95.
Gorgeous 1 carats from just $39.95.
And natural 2 carat diamonds from an amazing $13,995. Guys, during Bridal Fest, qualified buyers can get 12 months financing interest-free.
Plus, when you spend $5,000 or more during Bridal Fest, you'll receive a Yeti cooler as our gift.
So join us for Williams Jewelers Bridal Fest with our special guest, Takori.
March 17th through Saturday, March 21st at Williams Jewelers.
Your official Takori store.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Since 1994, Denver businesses have trusted Pike Janitorial for reliable, professionally supervised commercial cleaning. Offices, medical facilities, commercial buildings. They handle it all with consistent oversight and high standards. You shouldn't have to check on someone else's work. And yes, they'll beat your current cleaner's price by 10%, guaranteed. Call 303-306-0290 for a free quote. Pike Janitorial. Clean you can count on.
Spring weather is unpredictable. You never know which way you'll be adjusting your thermostat unless you have the right windows. And that's why with WindowNation.com, you can count on your home being comfortable regardless of the weather. Their windows are customizable and energy efficient. Expert installers take just one day, and Window Nation products are backed by a lifetime warranty. There's no better time to upgrade with Window Nation. In March, the more you buy, the more you could save. Up to 50% off all window styles. Visit WindowNation.com for your free consultation today.
Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040, the husband and wife law firm where you don't get passed around to a law clerk or some call center overseas. You always get to meet directly with me and my lovely wife, Kimberly. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
It's the College Hoops Showdown. Wall-to-wall basketball and zero time to mess with your lawn. At Waterloo Turf, they help Denver homeowners trade yard work for game time. No mowing, no watering, no mud on game day. Just a green championship-level lawn all season long. Perfect for watch parties, pets, and backyard hoops. From backyards to putting greens, Waterloo Turf installs premium artificial turf built for Colorado. Visit waterlooturf.com/Denver and book your free consultation. Waterloo Turf. Get your Saturdays back. And don't miss the buzzer.
Colorado, this is it. 2026 RV product rollouts are live at the Great American RV Show. Airstream Stetson 4.6s, New Trade Wind, Unmapped, Bliss Mobile, Chinook, Storyteller GXV. March 12th through the 14th, Colorado Convention Center. $12 online. See it first.
Having trouble sleeping? Visit Mattress Firm during the Upgrade Your Sleep sale. Their sleep experts will help find your perfect bed. They make sleep easy.
Perfect grammar.
Well, what is it?
Lululemon.
Lululemon. I thought there's a Lulumon. I look at Lululemon, and I see Lulumon. I'm not going to lie.
Relentless ambition.
If I don't get Mike and I sold, maybe it's Mike that's holding me back. Is it what you're saying?
I think maybe he might be the anchor.
And lots of empathy.
He went on a hunger strike, and it's not funny, Mike. The dog almost died, and you're laughing.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Off and rolling on this Thursday. Richie Carney over there, Will Peterson right here, hanging out for Evans and Stoke. Stink will be here in about a half an hour. Andy in Kansas on the RamoSlaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Morning, gentlemen. Dallas Goedert. Tomorrow morning we get our dual threat tight end. It was also nice seeing Christian Brown make a few shots last night. Good text, Andy. Love the optimism. Saw that the Eagles and Dallas Goedert gave themselves about 48 more hours to negotiate. I hope so. Because the Broncos, one of 2 teams in the NFL yet to sign an outside free agent. Them and the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions. So good company to keep. But Richie. Yesterday, we get 3 names re-signing with the Broncos. They are fullback Adam Prentice.
Bang.
Defensive lineman Matt Henningsen.
Cash.
And tight end, the best player on the Broncos. Shout out Cecil Lammy, Lucas Kroll. Listen, man, do any of those guys move the needle for you?
You're not close.
No, Will, they don't. There really hasn't been a player in Broncos free agency, in my opinion, that really moves the needle for me at all, because they're all players they've already had. And I think especially in terms of the tight end room, they're players that many of us would be comfortable if they weren't on the team anymore. And I don't want to it's not personal. I have nothing against any of those guys. And listen, somebody's got to fill the room, right? You can't just have one or two tight ends on the roster. So every NFL team's got its Lucas Krolls, or maybe it's Nate Atkinses,
or it's Adam Troutman's.
Or not that many have Adam Prentices anymore, but Sean Payton likes his fullbacks, whatever. And given the fact that like Adam Prentice was just as good as any of the other running backs in the running back room for half the year, so nobody really moves the needle for me, and this is creating kind of an interesting debate and dynamic between, is it a sign of good things that they're not being as active and they're not being like the Raiders handing out $300 million in contracts on day one, or is this like sitting on your hands and maybe, hoping that you can just run it back?
Feels like that. Feels like run it back is the strategy. And there's a couple things at play here. One, I think Sean Payton is trying to prove to everyone that he is the smartest guy in the room. And I went 14-3 with this team, and we're going to run it back and do the exact same thing. I think there's a stubbornness to Sean right now that's going on in terms of the Broncos' lack of activity. And then two, and this is tinfoil hat conspiracy, but I was on just 12 hours ago with James Marilatu in Denver Sports Tonight, and he said, and this is a very Jamesy take, I get it, but he said that he thinks Sean is doing this because Davis Webb's calling plays.
Oh, my God.
Going boy wonder, boy genius. Yeah, if he's so great, call plays with the guys I had to call plays with.
If I had to do it, then so do you.
Exactly. Anything of merit. To my theory, maybe this is Sean's ego, and then I think James's theory that takes it an entire step further, not quite out of bounds, but treading the line.
It's fitting your narrative.
Yeah, no, I as far as James's theory, I do think that's fitting his narrative. I don't think that is where I would go with it. Obviously, James has been a pretty outspoken critic of Sean Payton's at times, and, James is James. We love him. As far as your theory, Will, it's not impossible. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that, like, Sean Payton has a non-existent ego. I think a lot of play callers at the NFL level have that, and Sean Payton loves to talk, and he has his double latte moments, or he gets bewitched by Kay Adams and lets us know everything that's going on.
Who doesn't, right?
Exactly, right? I watched her Twitter video and I found myself reciting my social security number. But anyways, regardless of what the motivation is, the thing that bothers me is it's contradictory to Sean Payton's own words. We will have been at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, standing 10 feet away from Sean Payton when he says, hey, listen, you can't just talk about momentum carrying year over year. Every year, the game board shakes up and you start over again. And he was doing that in response to somebody saying, hey, you just came off a 10-7 season, so now is your expectation, is this an 11, 12 win team? Is this? And he was like, whoa, pump your brakes here. You can't just say because we won 10 games last year that we're going to win 10 plus next year. The game board shakes up every single time. So why is that different, Will, when you go 14-3 on the back of an insane winning streak throughout weeks 4 through, whatever it was of the season? You won, was it 11, 12 one-score games? Or you had 12 fourth-quarter comebacks at a minimum. You had to score 33 points against the Giants in the fourth quarter, 18 against the defending champion Eagles. All these crazy circumstances that had to come together. And now, all of a sudden, the game board's not going to shake up and reset, which is why you're okay just re-signing and retaining most of your talent, not going out of your way to address the needs that were the same last offseason as they are this year. It's inconsistent with what Sean Payton has said, regardless of what ego factors into it to me.
Sort of going against his own words,
if you
will. And the Broncos tight end room rankings in the NFL last season, receptions tied 19th, receiving yards 26th. First downs 30th, touchdowns 28th, yards per catch 25th, drop rate 30th. You get the picture. It wasn't very good.
Run that back,
and they're just running it back. Here comes Lucas Kroll. Here comes Adam Troutman. Here comes Nate Atkins. And, oh, by the way, they've done absolutely nothing with Evan Ingram, looking more and more like he'll play the second year of his deal with the Broncos. It just hasn't been inspiring. It's not been an inspiring 3 days. When the fellas sat here 72 hours ago, they were 3 hours away from the start of free agency, baby. And 10 o'clock on Monday morning hit like crack for the rest of the NFL. just not for the Broncos. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not saying that you have to be, like I said, the Raiders or any of these teams that are going crazy, because there's this narrative, right, that says, hey, big spenders in free agency, typically they don't make the Super Bowl the following year. Well, 2 of the top 4 spenders in free agency last year were the Patriots and the Seahawks, and they both just played in the Super Bowl. So there is no hard and fast rule or narrative. For me, it's not about the trends and all that. It's you had holes that were identified over a 17-game season. You had weaknesses that were exposed and prevented you from ultimately, beyond Bo Nix's injury, reaching or playing in a Super Bowl, and you haven't done anything to address them yet. So it's not over. There's still time. But to your point, it is at least a little bit frustrating that there wasn't some aggression toward plugging those up.
We'll keep it monitored over the next 3 hours and 20 minutes if the Broncos do anything fun this morning. In the meantime, Todd Rosler, you could be headed to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world, thanks to 303-LAW-4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes, 303-713-1043, to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2-night tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Las Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Todd Rosler, call us now, 303-713-1043. And guys, if you haven't already signed up, there's still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. Coming up next, the Avalanche. The pressure continues to crank up on them, including ESPN declaring the Avalanche will win the Stanley Cup. Richie and I will dive into it.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000.
Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K Bracket Challenge, presented by Bryant, Colorado.
Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th.
That's DenverSports.com/bracket.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly, near and far, without any glasses, thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cutarelli Vision, RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
I'm Neil, founder of Clay Room. When I found ceramics, I realized my calling was to give others the space to be creative. So I set out to open my own studio. Having a Chase Ink card has allowed us to grow it and bring people together. Now we're molding a creative community.
With the Chase Ink Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
I lost 60 pounds a few years ago with SodaWeightLoss.com, and it's never coming back. I am never gaining that weight back because I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat with SodaWeightLoss.com. You can join Soda for a short time that have results that last a lifetime. Call them up at 1-866-800-SODA. That's 1-866-800-SODA. Or go online to SodaWeightLoss.com. And I lost those 60 pounds, and I'm never going back because of the personalized touch that SodaWeightLoss.com gives you with a personal nutritionist that's always available via text when you have questions, you have concerns. Sometimes you just need encouragement on your weight loss journey. Have a friend there. Have your personal nutritionist there for you. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. It's changed my life. I look and feel 10 years younger, and I love it. You'll love it too. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com. Again, call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. Join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime at SodaWeightLoss.com. SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Free barbecue. Yep. Absolutely free barbecue. Hey, everybody, Dan Jacobs, the barbecue lawyer at 303 Law 4040. It's 2026, and we are taking our free meal program to the next level, and I want you to help spread the word with me if you can. I got a brand new smoker, and this thing's a beast. It's over 6 feet tall, so we can cook that 1,000 pounds of free barbecue each and every month. Here's what you do. It's Eastern Hills Community Church, 4 to 6 p.m. every first and third Thursday. I'm smoking up delicious pulled pork or my addictive copycat Chipotle recipe, and we're serving it up for free. You just get in line, you pop the trunk, we put free groceries in your trunk, and then we ask you how many meals you need for the night. It's that simple, no questions asked. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. Help us spread the word, and if you have any questions, you can always call me. The barbecue lawyer's number is 303 Law 4040.
Hey guys, your boy Snake here. Just because it's winter doesn't mean I'm sitting around waiting for the spring. I'm planting the yard, moving dirt, getting things ready for what's next. My friends at Bozar Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, they're doing their cleaning right now too. It's the Not So Winter event. Between everyday driving, busy schedules, and everything life throws at you, your vehicle works hard. And if you've been thinking about upgrading, now's the time to clean up your driveway and drive something new. Only at Bozar Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet. The Not So Winter event going on right now.
Enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HAWK to 321321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HAWK to 321321. That's HAWK to 321321. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Denver Sports is your home for Broncos free agency. Stay locked into 104.3 The Fan and head to DenverSports.com for up-to-the-minute news on the latest Broncos moves. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Listener appreciation.
Our RamosLaw.com texters always answer the bell.
Mentorship.
You can't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. And words of wisdom.
Don't let my confidence offend your insecurity.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
So the Colorado Avalanche have become huge favorites to win the Stanley Cup, even bigger after the trade deadline. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans, Richie Carney hanging out for Brandon Stokley, Mark Schlereth. I heard that big booming voice. He's in the building. He'll be with us here in the next segment and for the final 3 hours. The latest Cup odds, though, Richie, the Avs now at plus 290 to hoist the trophy. The Lightning plus 430, the Hurricanes plus 550, and the Golden Knights and Oilers both at 11-1 round out the top 5. And the reason I bring this up is because ESPN.com came out with a interesting article yesterday talking about overreactions to the 2026 NHL trade deadline. This is from Greg Wyshynski, their top insider, and his number one overreaction was, quote, the Avalanche are going to win the Stanley Cup, and his verdict in all caps lock, not an overreaction. Do you agree with that post-deadline? Nazem Kadri, Nicholas Waugh, Brett Kulak, Nick Blankenberg, for depth defenseman purposes, that it's not an overreaction, that now more so than ever, yes, our hockey team is going to get their second title in 4 years with this core?
Without question, Will, it's not an overreaction. It's the expectation. We felt that before the start of this season, and unlike the Nuggets, their Ball Arena co-tenant, where the vibes just immediately took a plummet south, from good to bad to frustrating, the Avs had like the best start to a season in franchise history and one of the best in NHL history. We were doing like 1929 Montreal Canadiens watch of like, are they going to be the greatest hockey team of all time in terms of points and record? Thankfully, we didn't have to kind of agonizingly go through that for a long time because there's still an amazing, amazing hockey team. And yeah, there were moments, especially kind of leading up to the Olympic break, and they had a little bit of a quote-unquote hangover, it felt like, especially because of the emotion and the amount of Avs that were playing in the gold medal game itself. But yeah, the expectation is absolutely that this team can and should win a Stanley Cup. And like has been tradition under Chris McFarland, they've been active in big ways at the trade deadline. And this time it was bringing back Nas without having to do any of the things we thought they would have to do. Once Nicholas Waugh came into the picture, I'm like, well, that closes the door on Kadri, right? Then it was, well, Calgary backed out. There was a deal in place, and they got cold feet. They pulled the Baltimore Ravens. They said no thank you. And that was that over salary retention. And then it ends up happening in the queue after the deadline has passed. We get this alert from Elliot Friedman and that he's coming back, and they did get him to retain salary. They didn't even have to ship out Val or Ross Colton or any of the pieces we thought they might have to. And you brought back a core member and an identity piece from your most recent Cup team. Will, there's in my mind, unless health just goes in a completely drastic way, which knock on wood it doesn't, or their inconsistencies on the power play really, really come to a head like they did in that first round series against Dallas again, anything less than a Stanley Cup final appearance for me is going to be a pretty significant disappointment.
Yeah, and don't forget the Avalanche as a franchise, 3-0 when they reached the final in their history. Beat the Panthers in 96, of course, the Devils in 01, and then the Lightning in 2022. Greg Wyshynski wrote, quote, I picked the Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup before the season. They've given me no reason to rethink that as of yet, and at the trade deadline, they might have underscored my confidence in that prediction. Yeah, here's where I'm at with the Avs right now. I shudder to think of the consequences if they don't win it all. And it's not a road I even want to go down because the vibes are high. They've got the most points in the NHL. I hope they hold off the Dallas Stars for the number 1 seed and make Dallas and Minnesota play in the first round with Gary Bettman's asinine playoff format. But, dude, if they don't win it, I've been the biggest defender of Jared Bednar. I've never once called for that guy's job. Never once. Now, Chris McFarland, I may or may not have in a bit of a rage last year. But Jared Bednar, I never called for his job. I think Jared Bednar's a great dude. I like him a lot. I think he's
love you guys.
Super professional with the media, and I think he's a hell of a hockey coach. But if they come up short, those conversations are going to start happening. And I hope we don't have to have them, but something drastic will change if the Avalanche come up short. It truly is now more than ever cup or bust. It just is.
Yeah, and that's such an overused term in sports in general of like X or bust or championship or that or whatever the milestone is. Because in reality, it feels like we've had that mentality for the Avs since they won the cup, in 21-22, and it was cup or bust, and then they didn't, and it's like, okay, well, what happens now? What's the bust? And in reality, for the Avs, it was they just go back to the ATM and they pull out more chips, and then they sit back at the table and they try again. And this year, though, it feels like it has been the most of any of those post-cup years just because, again, it gets harder and harder to do every year because if you're a cup or bust team and you're making these moves that are a lot of times like back half of year rentals, like was Charlie Coyle, and you're kind of pushing your chips further into the center of the table, at some point, you're going to run out. And for the Avs, You've got that Cale Makar extension looming, which is going to make things more difficult financially. That was part of the Nazem Kadri deal, was like they can do it, but they can't jeopardize what they're going to have to pay Cale in the future with the years remaining on the contract and all of that. For me, if this Avs team doesn't win a cup, I agree with you. The conversations have to be had. Doesn't mean that you have to do one thing or another, but the conversation does have to be had because you have to look at it from a front office perspective. What more could Sakic, McFarland, and company do to put a championship contending roster and retool and rebuild and move these pieces around for a head coach, whoever that is, than they've already done, right? Look at the moves that they've made.
Yeah, at some point it becomes on the players and maybe not on the front office and the head coach. All right, we'll see Avs and Kraken tonight in Seattle. In the meantime, tournament time is here. So is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/hoops to enter our 5K bracket challenge presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. The tourney gets going 1 week from today. He's here. He's in the building. Mark Schlereth will hop in next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/Superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. If you want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Save $10 on a pair of Rain X Latitude wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people will even install them for free.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Payton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, two-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer.
Score big to save 25% off all primetime functional trainers, home gyms, and racks. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose from the safety and comfort of your own home. Save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
If you're in love, you're invited to Williams Jewelers Bridal Fest with our special guest, Corey.
March 17th through Saturday, March 21st.
I'm Shayna.
And I'm Dylan Williams. Come see the latest from Takori and the best diamond prices of the season.
Shop over 500 of the latest Takori engagement rings and wedding band styles fresh from California.
Plus, listen to this. 3/4 carat diamonds from just $26.95.
Gorgeous 1 carats from just $39.95.
And 2 carat diamonds from an amazing $13,995. Guys, during Bridal Fest, qualified buyers can get 24 months financing, interest free.
Plus, when you spend $5,000 or more during Bridal Fest, you'll receive a Yeti cooler as our gift.
So join us for Williams Jewelers Bridal Fest with special guest Takori, March 17th through Saturday, March 21st at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, your official Takori store.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
I'm Rob Wilhite. If you've been in a car accident, you need experience that wins. For almost 50 years in Colorado, my firm has recovered over $1 billion for crash victims. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WillHiteWins.com. That's WillHiteWins.com.
Is your money doing everything it can for you? Like automatically pushing more of your money to savings every day?
I don't think so.
Then switch to Huntington Bank. And let's get more from money. Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Woodley's Fine Furniture, specializing in custom upholstery, solid wood, and the most comfortable leather furniture imaginable. You will not find better built furniture than at Woodley's. Visit woodleys.com today.
KKFN and KKFN HD1, Longmont, Denver. Powered by Able Builders, it's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Bold takes.
I would put my fajitas up against any Mexican restaurant.
Active listening.
You weren't listening to a word I just said.
Plus, a little number crunching.
What's 12 minus 1? 12 minus 11. 1. This is why math confuses me.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
We're back.
All right, we are hanging out on this Thursday. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans. Richie Carney hanging out for Brandon Stokley, and he's here. Mark Schlereth, Think in the building. What's going on, Mark?
Yeah, who's the hardest working guy at the station now? Stokely.
There was question before. Right. There's no question now.
Yeah, right. Stokely all patting himself on the back, talking about how tough he is. He misses yesterday's show with sickness. And then, now he's gone again.
His ceiling is established. Brandon Stokley, who famously in the show rejoins, is like, I'd love to have that Mark Schlereth schedule. He just comes in whenever he wants.
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, thanks for wanting to come in today, Mark.
Well, thank you, guys. It's always good to be with you.
Well, it's good to have you. I got to start here. You did something last night on social media that cracked me up.
I did? Great.
Well, it wasn't you necessarily. It was a guy who tweeted something.
Did it involve Jets fans?
You posted it. and I'll show it to you now. It's from Wild Owl Bear. He's talking about Detective Rock Hoover.
Oh, yeah. Look how skinny I was. Young, dark hair.
Goatee?
Dark goatee, no gray.
Do you have a little, was there a little Gary Kubiak grease paint in there, or was that all natural?
That's all natural, man. That is all 100% natural right there. Yeah, that was, I must have been, I don't know how old I was. I was probably in early 40s there.
So
as Detective Rock Hoover.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah.
We're doing a radio, so I'll try to
It has been a
describe
while.
this. It's Stink in a sharp suit. I mean, the hair is jet black. Hair looks good, man.
Yeah, the hair was dark.
Goatee looks good. You look sharp. Walk me through this. I know we've discussed your acting career before, but what was this specific role?
I think that was my debut on the Guiding Light of Detective Rock Hoover, where I screwed up my lines and we play it all. And Mike can't wait to play it every
Maybe next
day.
time you'll write a book about a small town.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was my dive into a daytime soap opera where I spent I think 2 seasons getting that show knocked off the air.
Those shows, traditionally speaking, and not in this case, apparently, as you just alluded to, but like they stick around forever, right? I mean, it's like The Days of Our Lives or General Hospital or whatever it is. When you were on the inside of it, did you understand? Could you see it? Could you understand why people just love to eat shows like that up in daytime television for decades?
No, and the crazy thing was you come into that, you have zero context. I never watched that show, right? So you dive right into it with these characters that have been around forever, and and you're supposed to come in there and play a role, and I have no idea I have no idea what the backstory is, kind of where they're going. The cool thing about doing that was all those actors had been there forever, but I'm more of a backstage guy, right? So it was all the makeup people, it was all the people on the set. They'd worked there for 30, 40 years.
Right.
The makeup dude that did my makeup, his name was Joe Cola, and I still text with him every now and again. We still connect every now and again. And he had been doing makeup on the Guiding Light for 35 years, right? And he's just a good dude. So the executive producer I still talk to him. I think it's Rob Messina. So I still text with him every now and again. It just is it was a cool experience. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, and and I wasn't any good at it, but it was fun. The people were great.
How does one get into that? I mean, obviously you had a super successful football career, but how did you make that transition?
All right, so Rob, who was the main producer, emailed me, and I used to have a markschlereth.com or whatever. Right?
Sure.
So he emailed me on that. I literally am sitting in the offices in the newsroom at ESPN, and I'm reading this email from Rob Decina. It's Rob Decina from the Guiding Light. And I'm looking around like I'm getting punked.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, I don't know about this. So I click on it, and I read it real quick. And I'll never forget, because this made me even think I was getting punked more. It was like, hey, Mark, we really enjoy your work on television, and we think you have that soap opera look. So I've never told this story before on this radio station. So as soon as I got that email, I was like, suspect, right? Somebody's trying to get me. I thought it was Trey Wingo. And so I casually kind of closed the email and left it for the rest of the day. Then when I got back to my hotel room that night after doing television all day long, then I responded, and they're like, "Hey man, we'd like you to, come down to New York and read and audition." So I was like, "All right, when do you want me to come in?" So I just flew in a day early to New York, and auditioned, and they hired me, and then I drove up to Bristol, Connecticut is about a two and a half hour drive or whatever it is, back and forth. So I would do things like, hey man, I'd do TV all day. I'd jump in my car. I'd drive to New York. They'd put me up at a hotel. The next morning I would shoot the very first thing at the first shot was 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I would do 2 scenes, and then I'd get in the car and bust back up to Bristol and be there by, by 11 o'clock or noon for our meeting, and then NFL Live would start at 2:30 or whatever. So that's kind of how I did that and it was just 15, 20 times over the course of 2 years.
Yeah, but that's such a unique story. I mean, here you are breaking down football on ESPN. You obviously have a huge audience. You're at the worldwide leader, and you get discovered by a soap star.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you have an ego, Mark, but that's got to make a guy feel pretty good that you're like, of all these people doing TV on ESPN, you picked me.
I felt ridiculous doing it, but I was like, who gives a rip?
That would have gone. That would have gone to my head if it was me. I know myself, and if I had been given that opportunity, and I was playing a detective on TV, at some point I would have moseyed down to the local police station and been like, "Hey, just let me look at those files real quick. Okay, you know who I am? You know who I am? I've been watching. I watched. I just finished it. I'm way late to the game as I am with most TV shows, but I watched Suits. Have you ever heard of that show? Right,
Sure.
The lawyer show.
Yeah, I've not watched.
After 5 seasons of Suits, I'm like, I think I could win a case. Like, I think I could stand in front of a judge and beat somebody in an argument. Like, just zero respect for the profession.
I always get into things on Twitter with people about that. Like, listen, dude, just because you watched the game, right? Just because I watched Mason Perry or I watched whatever the Lost shows are now, that's just dating myself right there because I can't remember one of the local.
I was like, I just gave you one, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, Suits. Yeah. Just because I watched Suits. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to think of the one that I actually used to watch with my wife. It was a great lawyer show, but I can't remember the name of it. Anyhow, yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. But, just because you watched, it doesn't mean you can try a case,
Right.
Like, just because it's just different, So, I don't know, just funny that you brought that up.
No, great memories. I love the picture. People can go check it out at Mark Schlereth on Twitter or X. All right, coming up next, the Broncos, are they taking a major risk not being aggressive in their win now window? Will they have Bo Nix on a rookie deal? We'll dive into it.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K Bracket Challenge, presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out, but what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issue before you even notice them. It's like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. You get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working with perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though your kids grow up and you still don't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi, all with Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040, the husband and wife law firm where you don't get passed around to a law clerk or some call center overseas. You always get to meet directly with me and my lovely wife, Kimberly. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. National Western Complex. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. National Western Complex. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. National Western Complex. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. National Western Complex. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. National Western Complex. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Still haven't filed your taxes? You're not alone, but the longer you wait, the harder the IRS can hit back. Penalties, interest, letters, none of it goes away on its own. At Advanced Tax Solutions, resolving IRS problems is all they do. Whether you're a year behind or 10, their licensed tax professionals can step in fast, stop the stress, and help you get back on track. Don't let another day slip by. A quick call could mean a quick resolution. Contact my friends at Advanced Tax Solutions today and take control of your tax situation before the IRS does.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors. Guys, we've had the driest winter in decades. Protect your home with fire-resistant, non-combustible, low-maintenance upgrades built to handle Colorado's extreme weather. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
When you want a new car, you want it now. That's why AutoNation moves at the speed of savings. Right now, put your tax refund to work at AutoNation. Even drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. No speed bumps, no detours, just great prices on new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save on thousands of vehicles with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Act fast, save now at your nearest AutoNation store. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details. Expires 3/31/26.
Stream Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Music history.
I've now baptized you in the glory of Led Zeppelin.
Brutal honesty.
Today's just been a bad day for you, Mike. I don't know how else to put it.
And some questionable taste.
I do not heat up leftovers.
Oh, my
I only eat
God.
leftovers cold.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
From the 9338 on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. That NyQuil knocks Stokley out for 2 days so far. Oh, pretty good. It's Will Peterson hanging out with Richie Carney and, of course, Mark Schlereth here this morning. All right, fellas, I think we'll start with you. Yesterday, the Broncos re-signed Lucas Kroll.
Yes.
The best player on the team, according to Cecil Lammey. Adam Prentice and Matt Henningsen.
All right.
Are you planning the parade, Mark?
Yes. Listen, man, from a depth standpoint, obviously they've tipped their hand. And part of me wonders, like, how many of these guys had offers elsewhere? Did anybody else want these guys, right? Did they have anybody else really sending offers and doing all that stuff? I don't know the answer to that question. But I will say this, I love re-signing your guys. I love the whole culture thing. I love all those aspects to it. They have sent you a message that we like our team, and we are going to try to get difference-making players through the draft. And we're not going to spend money on other players, on other teams' players. And I've said this a bunch over the course of my career on this radio station and everywhere else, most of the time, especially early in free agency, you're paying A+ money for B- players. And that's just a fact. And so I think the Broncos looked at it like, hey, man, the guys that are out there on the market aren't really better than the guys we have here. And we're going to go through the draft, and we're going to find ourselves a dynamic, first, second down running back. We're going to find ourselves a tight end that can do both things. I think that's what they're telling us right now.
Outside of the cost-controlled nature of it when you're talking about the free agency versus the draft, because I agree with you. Free agency is overpaying essentially for talent to plug needs more assuredly than going in the draft. So how is paying A+ money for B- talent, Mark, better than in the case of the draft? If you're going to use a parallel analogy, you're buying a ticket to a theater, but you don't know what they're playing because the draft is completely unpredictable. Kenyon Sadiq might be the next Mike Ditka, might be the next Kyle Pitts, or might be a bust. You know what I mean? Like when you're looking at any of these players, if they're going to get an impact player in the running back room, right, like they tried to do with R.J. Harvey. I don't think R.J. Harvey, I know he scored 12 touchdowns from scrimmage last year, but I don't think he profiled exactly the way that we thought he would or was going to fill that same role, certainly after J.K. went down. So why is that a better strategy for the Broncos outside of the financials to go that way versus a free agent plug and play?
Okay, so I think there's two factors here. I think that, and part of it is, you call it arrogance, call it confidence, call it whatever you want to call it. Part of it is, I think that Sean Payton feels like he and George Payton are better at the draft than 31 other teams.
I think they both said that, literally.
Yeah. I think they believe that. And listen, man, Bo Nix is a case in point. Like, Bo Nix was 6 out of 6 of that quarterback class. Mm-hmm. And they had him rated, and I know this because I have insight. I know this, that they really didn't work on Caleb Williams because everybody and their brother's uncle knew the worst kept secret in America that Caleb Williams was going to Chicago, okay? So they didn't really work on him. I know for a fact that they liked Bo Nix better than every other quarterback in that draft.
Even Jaden Daniels.
Every other quarterback in that draft. They liked Bo Nix. And it wasn't just what he did on the field. It was sitting down with him, discussing with him, sitting down with him, his football acumen and knowledge, his ability to regurgitate. Like, he was an A+ when it came to his understanding of football. And that was the biggest thing. But part of playing this game, from a draft standpoint, is so many teams get enamored with athleticism. And that's part of it. But you better be able from the neck up to understand the game, and then you better be able to have unbelievable reaction. You take information in through your eyes, you process that information, and then you execute. And the players that can do that are the players that are going to play fast and they're going to adjust. And so the problem with the draft is some guys are exceptional athletes that you think, I'm going to make them a great football player. And, and they'll have unbelievable success because they just can out-athlete people at the college level. We can't do that in the NFL. And so then you get that guy in, and he gets overwhelmed because, he can't do what he did in college. He can't just out-athlete guys. And so that's where they think they have the decided advantage. Now, I will say this. Has it worked they've only been here together, for 3 years, right? This is going to be their fourth draft, right? But I look at it like, all right, has it worked at the tight end position? Have you found somebody in the draft in the tight end position that you go, man, this guy has versatility and duality. He can play in the run game. He can play in the pass game. He is going to be our guy. And the answer is no. Have they done it in the running back room? They went out and got Estime, I think, in the 5th round for Notre Dame, and they thought, hey, man, downhill guy. Did he fit here? No. And he had a couple good games last year in New Orleans. I called the game where he played. Yeah. He played exceptionally well. But the bottom line is he has not done it consistently, and he's put the ball on the ground too often. So, they just feel like this supreme confidence about their ability to pick the right guys.
But isn't it a disservice in some senses to Broncos country that it's March 12th and we're sitting here talking about the draft? I mean, isn't this week supposed to be about free agency and excitement and Denver adding pieces to a team that went 14-3 and was a Bo Nix broken ankle away from going to the Super Bowl. Like, I love the optimism thing,
Sure.
but at the same time, I want to talk to you about the draft a month from now.
Yeah, no,
it's not really exciting to be talking about the draft this week.
Man, listen, I have done 3 hours of prep on Sadiq, on Kenyon Sadiq. I've done 3 hours of prep on the two running backs, Love and Price from Notre Dame. I'm digging into the other 5 tight ends that are draftable commodities. I'll spend the weekend looking at that tape. I'm honestly in draft prep right now when it comes to the Broncos. I'm following free agency for the rest of the teams, for podcasts, and I did Chicago show and I did a national show last night. But the bottom line is that, man, I'm on to the draft. And, I get it that nobody likes it, but it's almost the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Hey, man, we look at this backup tight end and our backup tight end, and we see them as similar guys. And let's just keep the guy that we have as opposed to go getting this guy and paying him more money than he deserves, and then we bring in a guy that we don't really know as well.
Because inevitably, every NFL team has Nate Atkinsons and Lucas Kroll. Somebody has to fill those bodies in each of the rooms that aren't starters or high-caliber players. So I can understand, to a certain degree, re-signing some of those guys. But when it's not followed up in any aspect with going outside the organization or making any real effort to improve the areas and positions of need that you had, because that's how I look at free agency. It's not about how much money did we spend, did we get the flashy guy, are they talking about us on TV or whatever it is, are our rundowns easy to fill out because we're the Raiders and we spent $300 million and whatever. It's about, if you're a team like the Broncos are that is firmly in their eyes and in ours in a championship window, are you doing everything you can with Bo Nix on a rookie contract to plug the holes that you have? And the holes they have right now, in my opinion, are the same holes they had last offseason that they failed to plug. So the fact that we're going into this free agency period without any major action in that regard, that's where I get disappointed, not because they didn't spend money.
Yeah, because I'll just take it back to the tight end room. We can talk about the running back room. Like, those were the two major positions to me of need. And, you look at the tight end room, okay, you re-sign Troutman and you still have Ingram here. And what changes? Like, Ingram was supposed to be the joker. Did anybody ever feel like, wow, Ingram, they got to figure out a way on the opponent's defense, got to figure out a way to shut down Ingram? No, and nobody feels that way. Nobody feels that way about Troutman. So I looked at it like, hey, man, what's a guy that can give us that kind of production? And there was one dude to me, Cade Otton, that really, like, and again, I call so many AFC or NFC South games that I've watched Cade Otton. I've called his games. I've seen what he is. But of course, Tampa Bay saw the same thing I did and re-signed him. So, anyhow, but it's disappointing. There's guys like Jake Tonges. And I was like, I like him. I like his game a little bit.
Yeah, 49ers.
Right, 49ers. But they look at him like, all right, would we rather sign our own backup back, or would we rather sign a guy we don't know back?
Right.
And they just chose their own backups.
Interesting. All right, we'll dive in more into the Bo Nix conversation of this as well. But in the meantime, Ryan Christian, you could be headed to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world, thanks to 303-LAW-4040. Call us back in the next 10 minutes, 303-713-1043, to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2-night tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Vegas, 2-night hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Ryan Christian, call us now, 303-713-1043. And if you haven't already signed up, there is still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. More on Bo Nix, plus Dallas Goedert. Could he be that answer at tight end that Mark's talking about? We'll dive into all of it next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303-LAW-4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/Superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303-LAW-4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
What is happening, fellas? Stoke here from my friends at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Fellas, sex, intimacy, and love are essential to fulfilling relationships, right? Erectile dysfunction can take a serious toll, stilling enjoyment, weakening intimacy, and placing stress on partners that can feel overwhelming. But ED doesn't have to continue impacting your relationship. My friends at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic can get you taken care of. Jeff and his team, they're the absolute best. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some treatments can have you last an hour or more. And my friends at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, their treatments work when the pills or the herbals fail. They've served the Front Range of Colorado for nearly a decade, and they have successfully treated tens of thousands of men. If ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to the sex, intimacy, and love that bring you closer together. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic has 5 locations right here in Colorado to serve you. Fort Collins, North Denver, Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs. Call them 720-440-7900. That's 720-440-7900, or you can find them online at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Now that it's nice outside, I can't wait to spend time at my favorite outdoor oasis right in my own backyard. With my custom built-in grill island, comfy patio furniture, and blazing fire pit from O.W. Lee, I may never want to leave. Hi, this is Keith Lair with Lair Fireplace and Patio to let you know that we'd love to help you create your very own outdoor oasis in your backyard. Lair's offers the widest variety of top-quality O.W. Lee furniture and fire pits. With a great selection of in-stock items along with our custom ordering process, you can choose the exact style and color that will make your patio sizzle this summer. Lair's also sells the top names in quality barbecue grills and accessories to help you create an outdoor kitchen that will be the envy of your neighborhood. Lair Fireplace and Patio is Denver's oldest, most trusted name in barbecues and outdoor furniture. Family owned and operated since 1954. Go to LairFireplacePatio.com and see why O.W. Lee is the most sought after name in quality outdoor furniture and fire pits. That's Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's outdoor room experts.
Visit any of Lair Fireplace and Patio's beautiful showrooms.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here. Just because it's winter doesn't mean I'm sitting around waiting for the spring. I'm planning the yard, moving dirt, getting things ready for what's next. My friends at Bozar Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, they're doing their cleaning right now too. It's the Not So Winter event. Between everyday driving, busy schedules, and everything life throws at you, your vehicle works hard. And if you've been thinking about upgrading, now's the time to clean up your driveway and drive something new. Only at Bozar Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet. The Not So Winter event going on right now.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of Denver and Northern Colorado is offering buy one, get one 50% off windows and doors and no interest, no payments until 2028. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends March 31st, 2026.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Relentless mind games.
Are you trying to get me in an really right now?
Total accountability.
You're always throwing your teammates under the bus. That's just what you do.
And a sprinkle of advanced analytics.
The Boo rating, BOO, which is balls over opponent.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
So Bo Nix is kind of the wild card in all of this. He's, of course, on a rookie deal, and the Broncos are in a win-now window, coming off a 14-3 season and an appearance in the AFC title game. Will Peterson, Richie Carney, Mark Schlereth hanging out for Stoke and Evans with our guy Stink. All right, Mark, so that's sort of the elephant in the room to me is, are the Broncos doing enough for Bo? Because if you gave Bo a couple of lattes this morning, a little truth serum, what do you think's going through Bo Nix's head based on how the last 72 hours have played out?
No, I don't think Bo's looking at it like, well, I wanted this guy or I wanted this guy. I mean, what, like, in all actuality, what wide receiver or what tight end or what running back do you think would have made, like, oh, man, that puts us over the top?
I think Travis Etienne would have excited Bo Nix an awful lot. Kenneth Walker as well.
Well, Yeah, I mean, I understand the running back. To me, those guys are not significant upgrades over J.K. Dobbins other than health-wise. And I get that. And so I want one of those kind of bruiser type of guys that can do that. That's what I wanted. And obviously they're going to go to the draft to try to find that for Bo. But I think there is comfort in knowing what you got, comfort in understanding that any coach that you talk to will tell you the third year of being in an offense is when everybody kind of gets exactly what's going on. Everybody's been like, you cannot be exposed to every defense versus every play. Like, once you hit that third year in this offense, that's when, oh, yeah, we've seen this before, we've had this, or we've faced this defensive front before, or we've had this coverage in this situation of the field. It takes that kind of time before you get there. So I think familiarity is good. I think the other thing that happens is I think they knew Troy Franklin was going to take some time to become, legitimate. I think we saw growth in Mims last year. I think they're really excited about Pat Bryant. I think all those things. So, I get everybody's frustration. My frustration again is with I would have loved to see, and it's different than most people's at the tight end position. Everybody wants, Isaiah Likely. He can run down the field. I want a dude that when you go in, you're not a tell to the defense that you're a really good route runner, a really good pass catcher, and you're really not a liability blocking people. I want somebody that can do both things. And then as far as the running back, I love J.K. Dobbins. I just don't like the fact that he only plays 8 games a year. That's what I wanted.
Right. I can see what you're saying with, hey, Travis Etienne or maybe even Kenneth Walker, they're not significant upgrades over J.K. Dobbins.
So let me just tell you guys both this really quick, because I did Seattle games, I did Jacksonville games. They were trying to replace Travis Etienne. They drafted a kid named Bashal Tootin. They had other guys there that they were looking for those guys to step up, and it's very much like the McMillan situation here.
He just had a killer year.
He just said, "Oh, really? You brought somebody in like it? He got his dander up. I don't even know what dander is.
It's exactly what you want when you bring in competition. If you're an organization,
so they 100% thought that he was going to be replaced at the running back position. He has this great year. Same thing, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet.
They were thinking about trading Kenneth Walker at the trade deadline. They were because they didn't think they were going to re-sign him. They didn't like. And then, obviously they didn't have an offer that was good enough. And then all of a sudden, when he became the go-to guy, then Kenneth Walker was like, oh, Super Bowl MVP. Now he's a $15 million a year back. Well, he wasn't at the trade deadline because they couldn't get a good enough deal for him. So, you just got to understand I understand that things change, but it's the same deal with McMillan.
I hear you when you say that, hey, those guys aren't that much of an upgrade over J.K. Dobbins outside of health. But J.K. Dobbins was a top 10 fringe top 5 rusher when he was healthy at the start of the season. And yes. I think having a top 10 fringe top 5 guy for 17 games instead of 8 or 9 or 10 is a pretty significant upgrade given what we saw and what transpired afterwards. Right. And you're probably right. They probably do look at Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant and say, hey, he was going to take some time or he's going to take a step. There were games this season where Troy Franklin out-targeted Courtland Sutton, which I don't think should happen very often at all if Courtland Sutton's going to be what you're paying him to be. And Pat Bryant, same thing. He earned some trust and maybe he's a good blocker and he didn't really come on till the end of the season, but you had health issues with him. You had health issues with Troy Franklin. Yeah, Marvin Mims is exciting. He's an all-pro level returner, but we're going into a 4th year where it doesn't feel like they really know how to use him.
So I think also the interesting thing is, so after the season, the coaches all sit down and they get cut-ups. Like, all right, let's look at every dagger we ran. Let's look at every, and so you'll get, hey, man, we ran this concept, this passing concept, curl flat. We ran it 86 times, right? And we've got all the cut-ups. And, all the deep balls. Hey, we got in a 3-by-1 and we ran spear where, we ran a couple of under routes and then we ran the number 2 guy on a fade, right? Whatever they call that. So they'll go through all those things. And I promise you, you look at Bo Nix, and look at early, and we tend to forget this because, we become captured prisoners of the moment, and we think about the end of the season. Look at how many balls Bo Nix missed early. How many deep balls he missed. And he missed a ton.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you now, when I went through every target that Ingram got last year. So as I looked at every target, they didn't ask him to go deep very often. It was usually once they crossed the 50, when they got in the plus territory, they get 30-yard line, they sent him deep on it. Most of his stuff was block for 1,001, check flat, block for 1,001, check spot, just hitches and stuff. But when he went deep, he was open. And there was just a bunch of misses.
Yeah, there
was a bunch of misses. And so I look at it like the Broncos are going, you know what, year 3, Bo Nix is going to pick up where he left off in that playoff game. He's not going to miss these. In that playoff game, man, Cortland Sutton had 2 or 3 drops.
Yeah.
They had a couple of drops. That's where he's going to pick up. And all those balls we missed through the first 9 weeks of the season, we're going to complete a majority of those balls. And so they look at it like, our guys were open. Our quarterback didn't get him the ball. Like we don't need an upgrade there.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you're telling me if Bo was unhappy, and we don't have any reports that Bo's unhappy. I'm just guessing here, that they're saying to Bo, you have enough weapons. Go make better use of them this year.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, I'm saying, hey, Bo, you got to improve. And he did over the course of the season. But remember, we talked about footwork. We talked about how fast he climbed the pocket, how many guys he missed. There was it the Indianapolis game where they got the 0 blitz and had him wide open, and it's exactly what you wanted, and you missed it.
And he had the deep ball to Cortland Sutton in that first Chargers game out in L.A.
Yep.
That obviously missed by 6 inches. They had to punt. L.A. kicks the walk-off field goal. They go to 1-2 on the season.
Right. So there's a bunch of those plays that if you broke it down, but we remember, what do we tend to remember? The fourth quarter comeback in Philly. The fourth quarter comeback at home against the Giants, and when he was operating out a 2-minute for the last whole quarter,
schoolyard football.
Right, he played really well in those things, and so I think they just look at it like, hey man, our guys are going to continue to get better. We have plenty of weapons, and then we're going to just invest in the draft. That's just my take on, and you got to kind of read the tea leaves based upon how free agency has gone.
Does that kind of contradict, though, Mark, and I brought this up to Will earlier, the concept of sitting back on our heels and saying, hey, we've got playmakers, we've got weapons, we just went 14-3, all that. Does that kind of contradict the same attitude that we heard from Sean Payton, who stood in front of a microphone at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, and was like, hey, just because we went 10-7 last year coming off of Bo's rookie year doesn't mean we can expect to be a 12-win team this year or
Right.
expect regression, because the game board shakes up every year. So while it can be true that you had plays that were made, you had games and fourth quarter comebacks that happened the way they did, or players that performed the way they did in 2025, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen again in 2026 or that you're going to be able to replicate that formula. So doesn't their strategy thus far feel like it's kind of contradictory to what we've heard from Sean Payton and this organization in the not-so-distant past?
Yeah, I think that 14-3 is, it's hard to win 14 games, right? And I think the reality of it is you look at the 2 losses early, you should have won both those games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's going to be a loss or two. You probably shouldn't beat the Giants. You probably...
They won't score 33 points in a fourth quarter again.
They were down 26-8 with 5 minutes to go in that football game.
Right. Yeah. So, hey, man, we're going to win a couple. We're going to win a couple that we should lose, and we're going to lose a couple that we should win, and it's going to come out in the wash. And listen, I think you look at the division that you're in right now with the Chargers and with Kansas City and a healthy Mahomes and investing in the run game and some of the stuff that they have done. I think you're looking at this is going to be a battle, and it's the first team to 12 wins the division. And I think they look at that and like, can we compete in that division? Can we win 12 games against that competition? Yes, we can. And so I think they look at themselves and look at the third year of Bo Nix and what they think he's going to be, and I think they feel pretty good about that.
All right, let's get to it every day here around 7:40. It is time for 4 Down Territory.
It's time for 4 Down Territory, where Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth react to the latest action both on and off the gridiron. Kicking things off with First Down.
All right, guys, we'll start with this just in here in the last 10 minutes or so. It is official, per the wire. The Broncos have released Dre Greenlaw with a post-June 1st designation. Obviously, that will save them some money, about $8 million when it's all said and done. Mark, we'll begin with you. The Dre Greenlaw era in Denver was?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I think we all had great, hopes and expectations. And listen, man, having done a bunch of San Francisco games and watched a lot of tape on Dre Greenlaw, when Dre Greenlaw, before he started having all the injury issues, dude, you want to talk about a dude that was a difference maker and an attitude setter on the defensive side of the ball when he was paired in San Francisco, with Fred Warner. Man, he was special. And then obviously in that Super Bowl, he tore that Achilles, and he's had nothing but issues ever since. It's disappointing because I had great expectations, kind of like I had with Hufanga. And Hufanga, lived up to all those expectations, but Dre Greenlaw not being able to stay healthy, it was just a disappointing single year,
Yeah, no, I'll say frustrating. I could be more harsh about it because this was the player that I had the highest hopes with going into the season last year, because I thought, man, what an addition that's finally going to be, and what a solution they're probably going to have to a problem at middle linebacker that they've had since they won the Super Bowl. And you pointed out what he's capable of and playing at an all-pro level and the downhill nature, right? Like Luka Evans reminded us and all that. And it just never panned out. He was never healthy from the jump, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like you thought you were going to be the exception to the rule, and it wasn't, just like JK. And then it's like, it's not just the injuries, though. It's that he came back and, in his first game healthy, he gets suspended for a game for bumping an official and getting pissed off after.
I was more on Dre's side than the official side on that.
Doesn't matter, though, Will. That's what happened.
I thought Brad Allen kind of instigated that whole ordeal.
He might have, but it happened, right? Like, that was, you're supposed to be an impact player on the defense, and then you do something like that. You put yourself in a position to where an official can make the call and do the power, whatever. And then even when he came back healthy toward the end of the year, it was just a non-factor. It's frustrating. And, boy, you got to figure the run-it-back Broncos, by the way, who have brought back everybody under the sun, were like, this guy, not a chance. They must have been so done with him for whatever combination of reasons, because he's the only one of a major sense that they haven't brought back.
Well, Mark, I'll ask you this then. Is there something to the culture fit with Dre Greenlaw? Because to me, they've got cap space. I would have just paid the guy his $8, $9, $10 million and run it back. I would have thought year 2 could be different than year 1. This surprised me that they're so in on Singleton and Stranad, and Greenlaw's just ultimately out of their plans.
Well, I thought Stranad played every time he got an opportunity to play on the starting defense. I thought Stranad was he was that downhill guy. He was really good. And so,
what do you know about downhill?
Yeah, I not much. But
Evans.
Yeah, thank you.
Evans.
I will say, I looked at him when he was playing, and I thought, man, that dude's a starter. Every time he got that opportunity to start, I thought that guy's a starter. And I think ultimately you look at what you have, like the difference between he and JK. There was a significant difference in that run game when JK was in there versus any other running back we had. Mm-hmm. Significant. There wasn't a significant difference between when Stranad was in there and Dre Greenlaw. As a matter of fact, Stranad was better. And so I think they look at themselves and they look at the film and go, this dude is better than that guy right now. And we don't trust that Greenlaw is ever going to be healthy. And so they moved on from that. There was actually a downgrade when Greenlaw came in versus Stranad. And so I think it was money well spent. I think they found their two guys.
Oh, it didn't work. I was trying to go to second down. iPad didn't work.
Let's try it again.
Still not working. I see the little bar.
Is it spinning?
It's spinning. It's going. Just not getting it.
Second down.
Second down.
All right, there we go.
Dallas Goedert, guys, had his void date pushed back. It was a name that was thrown around before free agency, but he's reportedly agreed with the Eagles to push that void date back to tomorrow. Maybe some hoping Philly he ends up back there. Richie, if he were to become available, would you like to see him in Denver?
Absolutely.
Dallas Goedert.
Absolutely. Mainly because they haven't done anything to address a major position of need yet up to this point. I don't think it would be something that would break a bank in a significant way. It's a player with a proven track record of being able to do the things that the Broncos are lacking in that room. And frankly, Will, it would just breathe a little bit of juice and life into an offense that's going to, reminder, have a first-time play caller and a quarterback who's going to have to adjust to things on his own and was left on an island from a playmaker perspective for large stretches of this past season.
Dallas Goedert is that guy that's got dual ability that I talk about at the tight end position. And he's an exceptional player. He's a really good player. Now he's 32 years old, but come on. I mean, in today's NFL where you can't hit anybody and we're running RPO stuff and all that kind of thing, like 32 is not the 32 it was when I was playing.
Sure.
It's a different 32, right? And so Dallas is one of those guys to me who's a really good like pass-catching tight end. He's a guy that's going to put up 50 or 60 catches, and he's very good. Remember, he was their primary tight end run blocker in a 2,000-yard season by Saquon Barkley. And I know they had the best offensive line in football and all those things, but he's part of that best offensive line in football. And so he's a guy that can do both things. So he was a guy that I would put on my free agent board. We're not doing our free agent boards anymore. So the story of my free agent board.
Yeah, a lot of X's for you guys.
Yeah,
a lot of X's for everyone's
You
guys.
haven't revealed this? You never revealed this to them?
No, I never revealed this, but I'll just reveal it now. So every guy that I was going to put on my free agent board was going to come from the NFC South, since I call so many NFC South games. But Dallas Goedert would have been one of the guys on my board had he played in the NFC South. So it was a little game I was playing to see if anybody noticed. But now we just kind of gave up on it because all we did was sign our guys.
Yeah, they know Mark Schlereth in the New Orleans and Tampa and Atlanta airports. They see you every Saturday.
That's right.
Coming in for the games. I just think with Goddard, he'd be a great addition. But if you re-sign Troutman and you re-sign Kroll and you re-sign Atkins, and Ingram's still got another year on his deal, I don't know if Goddard fits.
You're not signing you're just not going to sign another. You're going to put all this on the draft. So you're going to try to find yourself a young tight end that can do both, that comes out of the college game, that can come in here and eventually work himself into significant playing time. That's what you're going to try to do.
Third down.
All right, guys, so there is a viral tweet going on that was circulating yesterday that asked if you could only watch one group of sports for the rest of your life, what would it be? All right, so let me give you these two groups, fellas. Group A, the Masters, MLB playoffs, the college football playoff, and the NHL playoffs. Or Group B, the NFL playoffs, March Madness, the NBA playoffs, and the World Cup. Last time I checked, this thing's got 14 million views on Twitter. A heck of a debate going on. Stink, you can only watch one of the two. The Masters, MLB playoffs, college football playoffs, and the NHL playoffs, or the NFL, March Madness, NBA playoffs, and the World Cup. Which direction are you going?
I would go Group B because my whole life has been surrounded by NFL football. So that just the fact that NFL football is on there, that's what I would do.
Yeah, this one for me, Group B feels like the one you navigate to, especially if you're a football fan because of the NFL playoffs. But I'm going to go Group A. I really am. And maybe there's some recency bias in it for me. I was able to go to a game in every round of the Avs Stanley Cup run, including Game 1 of the Cup final that they won in overtime. And overtime Stanley Cup final hockey is the most electric sports environment I've ever seen in my life. And the college football playoff has its pluses and minuses, but college football is fun and exciting. Major League Baseball playoffs, the recency bias being the World Series we just had was unbelievable and fun to watch, more so than many I've seen in the past. And the Masters is the Masters. It's unlike any other kind of sporting event on this list. So give me Group A.
Yeah, I'll break the tie here. I'm going to go with Group B as well because I can't imagine not having the NFL playoffs and the NBA playoffs in my life. And even March Madness, fellas. I mean, that starts a week from today. I'm not a big college basketball guy. I'll be glued to the tournament like everyone else.
Speaking of college basketball, the Vandals, the mighty, mighty Vandals.
Are they dancing?
They're dancing, both the men's and the women's team.
Love
so
it.
Sweet 16, here we come. I do get excited. Like, I don't watch college basketball at all until until the tournament starts.
Sure.
And the other thing is, I couldn't care less about soccer, but I do watch World Cup games.
World Cup is awesome.
World Cup is really cool. So I mean, that part of it, that part, once every 4 years, I'll give you my attention or whatever it is. I think it's 4, isn't it? 4?
Yeah, it's once every 4. And the thing with the World Cup too, you're right. It's one of those sports that you can get into in small doses. I find myself with that with the Olympics. I'm not turning on curling on a random Tuesday night, but all of a sudden we got a gold medal on the line in curling.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I'm going to check that out.
Locked in on the skeleton luge, and I've never seen a single aspect of that sport outside the Olympics.
Yeah, right. Like all the luge stuff, all the 4-man bobsled stuff, all that stuff.
Snowboarding, half pipe.
Yeah, and then the ski racing. With the ski racing is like when they introduced for me the Olympics this year, that the freaking drones that follow you either down the luge course or down the slopes, like the anxiety that I felt, because it's just an angle where you start to realize how freaking fast these people are going on skis and how dangerous it looks. Like I was locked into the slalom and to the downhill was unbelievable with that little drone buzzing by and following the skiers.
The doping scandal in ski jumping, right? Dudes juicing their junk. If they're serious enough about it to do that, you can have my attention once every 4 years, no doubt.
Exactly.
Can Gabe Landeskog get some of that, by the way? Will that help the recovery process of whatever he's going through?
I don't know. But his knickers may not fit after that treatment.
I was in the room on Sunday, and Jared Bednar got asked, so lower body injury with Gabe, and he goes, yeah, painful lower body injury.
He couldn't help but chuckle.
I mean, remember, he showed reporters the cup in Dallas that Cale Makar put a dent in with a hockey puck. So, we say they're so secret about hockey injuries. You know what's going on with Gabe.
Do we have to at some point acknowledge that maybe Cale has a grudge against Gabe? I mean, there's been a handful of times where Cale's been directly responsible for some pain on Gabe Landeskog's part.
His knee in the bubble, and Gabe didn't play for
I'm just saying. That baby face is hiding something, maybe.
I was going to say, and it's poor Cale in all this. All right, coming up next, first of all, we're going to punt on 4th down, but more Broncos talk, especially when it comes to the wide receiver position. Have they done enough? Will they do more? Is A.J. Brown still in the mix? All of it next.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K Bracket Challenge, presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, your boy Stink here. Recently talked to my buddy Troy Hansford about the housing market. Over this last 2 years, it's gone from the hottest market it's ever been to prices declining, something that hasn't happened here in quite some time. So if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now's the time to sell, still get top dollar with my buddy Troy Hansford. Hey, believe it or not, he's still offering his $5,000 guarantee. If you can't sell your house at the price you guys agree upon, plus the timeline that you guys agree upon, he's going to cut you a check for $5,000. Come on, nobody else makes that offer, and he makes that offer because he continues to spend an obscene amount of money marketing his listings. Has about 100 families approved and ready to buy. If you have a house, Troy probably has the perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to call him and at 720-900-4433. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That number again, 720-900-4433. That's 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How can you grow your business from idea to industry leader? With smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support.
SodaWeightLoss.com is state-of-the-art, and SodaWeightLoss.com helped me lose 60 pounds a few years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. Why? I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. I had a real nutritionist there to help me along the way through my journey. I joined Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. You want to lose that weight? 1-866-800-SODA. Online at SodaWeightLoss.com. They are there for you like they were there for me. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. National Western Complex. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. National Western Complex. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. National Western Complex. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. National Western Complex. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. National Western Complex. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
When the Nuggets are knocking down threes, you score too. If Denver hits 15 or more three-pointers, you score a free 28-ounce Gatorade Lower Sugar the very next day at your friendly King Supers. Gatorade Lower Sugar is scientifically formulated with Gatorade's #1 proven electrolyte blend and has 75% less sugar than Gatorade Thirst Quencher and no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors. Big shots deserve next-level hydration. Only at King Supers.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here. I've been around long enough to know the difference between tough talk and real quality, and that's why I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton. Right now, get 25% off Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows. You'll also get 20% off of James Hardy siding, engineered to resist hail, fire, moisture, even woodpeckers. Invest wisely with 12 months, no interest, and no payments. Schedule your free consultation at Gravina's Window Center of Littleton today. Call them 303-794-0490 or visit them online at windowsforyourhome.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by Waterloo Turf Denver. Get your Saturdays back.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan. KKFN and KKFN HD1, Longmont, Denver. Powered by Able Builders, it's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth. Sharp criticism.
Mark Schlereth's a pansy.
Cries for help.
Dude, wake up. No. I need better from you.
And a little bit of tough love.
If the truth gives you a wedgie, then you know what? Buy better underpants.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
There's a fire, call the fireman. If you're in pain, babe, call a doctor. Don't be afraid to.
8:01 on this Thursday morning. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans. Richie Carney hanging out for Brandon Stokley, and, of course, Mark Schlereth, the hardest working guy on this show, as we've established.
Yeah.
Here.
There's no hey, where's Mike? Where's Stoke? They're not here. Me. Boom.
You're here.
That's right.
You're hanging out with Richie and I. We appreciate it. A lot of good reaction on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Keep it coming. I mentioned receivers, fellas, and it feels like this A.J. Brown thing will not die. Mark, is that wishful thinking on the part of Broncos country? And also, to me, I don't really want A.J. Brown in Denver. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe it's spicy, but I'm not trying to bring in a guy that's reading a book on the sidelines, that's posting 2 days after the Super Bowl, that he doesn't feel joy. How do you assess, A, is there some smoke with this A.J. Brown thing? And B, do you even want A.J. Brown on the Broncos if there is?
So, yeah, I don't care for how the whole thing went down in Philly. Like, I don't care for it. It bothers me when a guy can't find joy in wins because he didn't get enough targets, right? I don't like guys who find joy in losses because they had 12 catches for 167 yards and 2 TDs. And they couldn't be happier in the locker room after a loss because they got numbers. That irritates the crap out of me, and that is one of those that to me is a positional thing. Like there's really no other position in football that feels that way other than the receivers. And I hate that about receivers for the most part. That bothers me. But here's the issue that a lot of people, I think, don't really understand. And this, for Broncos country, just from an educational standpoint, our ex-receiver, that's the big guy on the ball, usually a short side of the field. The ex-receiver here is Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
You just signed him to a big deal. And Courtland Sutton is about football. Courtland Sutton will do what it takes to win football games. And if he doesn't get targeted, he's not a guy that's going to complain. He's just going to go out there and work. The guys that are out there that were available, guys like A.J. Brown or even Mike Evans, they play the same position. So you're going to sign a Mike Evans to whatever San Francisco signed him to.
I believe $60 million, 3 years.
Yeah, $60 million. And then you're going to say, oh, by the way, Courtland, now you're going to go play a different position. We just signed you. So you've already made your decision that Courtland Sutton is our A guy, and this is the position he plays. So, like, A.J. Brown plays X. Mike Evans plays X. Courtland Sutton plays X. And you're certainly not going to say, hey, A.J. Brown, with all the success you've had, we're going to move you to Z. Or, hey, Mike Evans, we're going to move you to a different position. That's not going to happen. And so from a fit standpoint, unless you're willing to trade Courtland Sutton, you're not going down that road for one of those guys. And then it becomes guys like Jalen Naylor, who's a good receiver, is a good slot guy, but you're sitting there going, is that better than the guys that we're developing right now? Spending money there when we have guys under contract that we don't have to spend money on in Mims and Franklin, does that make sense for our football team? And the answer is probably, if you're really looking at it, through kind of Broncos eyes, like through management eyes, through coaching eyes, it doesn't make sense.
Listen, ultimately, guys, I'm not sprinting to put in a trade request for A.J. Brown either. And I think a lot of the reasons that you articulated, Mark, are valid. He wasn't happy on a team, being the number one wide receiver on a team that won the Super Bowl. And the reading the books on the sideline and cryptic tweets, which are a very wide receiver type of thing, and all of that. And I get that. It's the same reasons why I would have a lot of hesitations, and actually even a larger degree with a guy like Stephon Diggs, because of off-the-field stuff and attitude, and every team that's taken a swing on him, from Houston to Buffalo to whatever, moves on after a year. But the Broncos were one game away from a Super Bowl. So if I'll play devil's advocate here, is it really that big of a deal to bring in a guy that maybe isn't the most golly shucks cultural guy, but is a big-bodied wide receiver that can produce, and that in an offense that has a dearth of playmakers and weapons that are consistently reliable week to week, which I think we can agree A.J. Brown was, even if he wasn't happy with how much he was getting the ball? Is it that big of a crime to bring a guy like that in?
To me, the Broncos culture got them to 14-3. And they were not the most talented team in the NFL, but they finished tied for the best record in the NFL because all the guys bought in. You guys remember the Hackett year. Mark, you did radio every morning. What did you guys talk about? You talked about the drama, the disaster off the field. Is he the worst coach in Broncos history? You guys weren't talking a lot of ball because the ball was not fun. I mean, we had to lean into Jerry Rosberg, of all people, being the interim head coach. What'd you guys do for the last 4 or 5 months? You talk football because there was no drama with this team. Is inserting a guy like A.J. Brown, and come week 6, say they play the Raiders in week 6. They win 31-10, but A.J. Brown gets one target, catches it 9 yards. what's going to be the story?
Right. And
A.J. Brown unhappy or the Broncos beating Las Vegas by 21 points?
There's going to be a cryptic tweet, and then we're going to spend the week talking about how listen, the cultural thing is interesting because I think it's the number one thing.
Is the Broncos culture not strong enough to survive an A.J. Brown?
So that's the question. And I think the answer to that is yes, it is strong enough to survive him. But here comes the problem. If you're Sean Payton and you're preaching about the right guys and the culture we've built, and we've moved on from Russ because he doesn't fit with what we're trying to do. We've moved on from Jerry Jeudy because he doesn't fit with what we're trying to do. We've moved on from there's a litany of guys that we have moved on from that are potentially good football players because they don't fit. And then all of a sudden you say, you know what, though? Now what we're going to do is we've built a good enough culture. Let's start bringing in this guy. Let's start bringing in this guy. And if the guy adheres to your culture, then it's all good. But as soon as he starts, like to Will's point, as soon as he gets that one target game and he's throwing out cryptic tweets and he's not talking to the media afterwards and he's all pissy and the next day, like that stuff wears on over time. That stuff can wear on you. Can we absorb one guy or two guys? Yes. But I will tell you this. You start putting 3 or 4 guys that are issues that you have to babysit. And I don't know why this is, and I've talked about this a bunch, the gravitational pull of those guys dragging guys down is far greater than all the other guys you have that are culture guys bringing dudes up. And, I always used to say this, this was kind of a thing I learned in Alaska from a crab, like this is deadliest catch stuff. And a buddy of mine used to say life is a crab pot. And I'd always be like, what does that even mean? Life is a crab pot. So if you go, and he was a fisherman, if you go crabbing, they've got these big wire baskets. You put one crab in the wire basket, he can crawl right out of it. You put multiple crabs in the wire basket, you don't have to shut the lid. One crab, you got to shut the lid because he'll crawl right out. Multiple crabs in that wire basket, you don't have to shut the lid. Why? Because every time one of the crabs rolls up and gets close to the top, another crab grabs its leg. And instead of that crab getting pulled out, he ends up pulling out the crab back down in the crab pot. And that's bad culture guys on your football team. They reach up and grab other people and pull them down. And so you can deal with one or two, but you got to be very careful about that.
I don't disagree. And like I said, if you're asking me personally, I'm probably not rushing to make a deal like this done. But what are the conversations that we've had for 2 hours and 10 minutes so far as it relates to the Broncos when we've talked about them? It's that we're disappointed with the fact that they haven't done anything, that they didn't go out and address the needs, of which maybe wide receiver isn't as high as tight end or running back. But I don't think any defensive coordinator in the NFL is looking at the Broncos wide receiver going, God, how the hell are we going to stop these guys? I just don't think that's the case. And if we're talking about doing the best we can to put weapons and pieces around Bo Nix that, health permitting, because I think it would have happened last year, that they can ultimately play in and hopefully win a Super Bowl, which I believe that this group is capable of doing, I think you have to be willing to operate in the gray a little bit. If it's in a controlled situation, it's not an abundance of players like that where you have crabs pulling legs down and all that. And it's a player that even in a year where he was frustrated and pissed about not being used was an 80-catch player for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Feels like something that the Broncos could have used.
I get all that, but at the same time, what have they done the last 3 drafts, fellas? They've invested in Marvin Mims. Then they invested in Troy Franklin. Remember the old wake up at 6 a.m. and Sean texted George, we're going to trade up for this guy. And then they invested in Pat Bryant. If you trade for A.J. Brown, what kind of message does that send to, by all accounts, 3 good culture guys in Mims, Franklin, and Bryant as well? That, to kind of go back to your crab analogy, that could throw another wrench into the thing. Those 3 aren't a problem now. But if you trade for A.J. Brown, what's the mindset of Troy Franklin become? What's the mindset of a disappointed at times Marvin Mims become? Pat Bryant coming off a nice rookie year. You kind of, I'm not trying to excuse the lack of activity, but at this specific position, you've kind of made your bet in the draft.
If you told me there's a real dynamic guy that plays receiver, that plays the opposite, like that plays the Z or plays the slot. And this guy has just been so productive, 100 catch seasons every year. And you want to bring that dude in, I'm all for it, if he's a good dude. But like the problem is, like I said, all these guys that we're talking about play the same position as Cortland. So I just again, and not that Cortland is a top 5 or 10 wide receiver, but Cortland's a really good player.
God, I feel like I'm pigeonholing myself into being this A.J. Brown defender, which I'm not. But I'll just say again, there's an out in Cortland Sutton's contract in 2027. And if Cortland Sutton wasn't on this team, would A.J. Brown suddenly be like, yeah, that's a guy we should go get?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you're really looking at that, you're talking one season of potential overlap. If you were to go get A.J. Brown and you could either get out of Sutton's contract or try to trade him, or something like that. Again, you talked about sending what message does that send to these guys that you've developed in? I've got nothing against Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant and Marvin Mims, but they've had to keep investing in that room in part because it hadn't been good enough. So maybe it's okay that there's a message to be sent. I don't think Mims and Franklin or really anybody on the Broncos team, including their quarterback in Bo Nix, is above having a message sent that's like, hey, we haven't reached what our ultimate goal is. This production in this particular room, if you want to talk about the wide receiver room, hasn't been good enough. Maybe Bo Nix plays a part of that with not being as accurate or being off, having some footwork regression, whatever. The running back room, same thing. It hasn't been good enough because our goal is to win a Super Bowl. I don't think that's a damaging or dangerous message to send, personally.
Dustin in Evergreen has a great text that I want to run by Mark. He says, I want to ask Mark, after the Broncos lost to the Jags in the 96 season, after that year, were the roster changes the team made, given that they were so close going to the Super Bowl, good enough? I think what Dustin's saying is you guys suffered a heartbreaking loss, and then you won back-to-back Super Bowls. This was obviously before Twitter and before group text and all that. But what do you specifically remember about that offseason? Did you feel like management did enough to get you guys over the hump? Or was it more you just suffered a loss that was heartbreaking and you used that as fuel to go hoist Lombardi back-to-back years?
I thought a couple things. In that particular game, that was us not doing, not executing, us not putting together a good enough game plan, us not taking care of our business. We're a much better team than Jacksonville, and that wasn't even close. But I don't really remember us doing a whole lot. I don't remember exactly what we did. As far as free agent signings, I think we went out and got a third wide receiver. I think we went out and got who was the cat? We got Willie I can't even remember.
Behind Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey.
Yeah. I think we just got a couple of did we go out and get Neil Smith, which was a big deal, obviously, but for the most part, our team didn't really change. It wasn't like we went out and got, let's go get the most dynamic guy here or the dynamic guy there. Neil was an older player at that point, but it was he was a big culture guy. I know we ended up letting go of Michael Dean Perry for a lack of effort, and I remember sitting in that meeting when Mike Shanahan put the film up and said, this is why he was a team captain, this is why we let him go, and showed 4 or 5 clips, games and practice, of him just not playing very hard. And that's not how we operate. So again, that was and he was a great player for a long time in this league, but he's a bit older, and those were the things that we did. I don't really remember we went out and got this guy, and that's going to make us more dynamic. We were already a damn good offense and a really good defense as well.
So bringing it back to this version of the Broncos, you guys were good enough to run it back. You knew you came up short for X, Y, or Z. I think the 2025 Broncos came up short because Bo Nix broke his ankle. I'm not going to sit here and say they would have beaten the Seahawks if Bo doesn't break his ankle, but I firmly believe they would have been in Santa Clara. They would have played in Super Bowl 60. And just those parallels here of you guys didn't need to overhaul your roster after the loss to Jacksonville. Maybe the Broncos don't need to overhaul their roster after the loss to the Patriots.
Right. I think one of the things that we looked at is the mistakes that we made, just as an offense in general, and the game plan that we put in, And, and then they got some momentum, and Mark Brunell was ridiculous. And, and the bottom line is we lost that game. But I think we looked at our roster and we looked at our team and said, man, that's one of those things that is a lesson that we will not take lightly, and that's not going to happen again. And I didn't think we needed to dramatically change our football team. And I think they look at that same thing. Like, I think it's a good point. 14-3, we would have won the AFC Championship had we not had to start our backup quarterback.
100%.
100%. Yeah, without question. And ultimately, we probably, if Bo Nix is playing quarterback at that point and New England has 12 plays and 12 yards as an offense, Sean Payton probably kicks that field goal. But he's looking at it like, hey, man, we don't have enough offensive firepower. We may not get down. Like, we got to go for it because we've got a backup quarterback. Like, I don't know the mindset, but the bottom line is I think they look at themselves and go, we're really a good football team, and our players are just going, on that up. They're not on the down slope, they're on the up slope.
I don't necessarily disagree, and I don't think the Broncos need to overhaul anything in a massive way. Now, you could argue maybe with a specific room, like they overhauled the running back room in its entirety last offseason. I think many of us would have been fine if they overhauled the tight end room this offseason, which they clearly did not. But I don't think they're above needing to add a significant piece here or there. I'm fine with retaining a lot of their guys. I'm good with Justin Sternad and Alex Singleton being your starting linebackers. Fine. Dre Greenlaw, see you later. Bringing back a body or two in the tight end room that's going to need guys, whether that's Ingram or Trautman or whatever, fine. Not doing anything at the running back position to me feels borderline like malpractice. It's overconfident to me, given what your eyes have told you. And not just your eyes, but your ears. Because another thing we were told by not Sean Payton or George Payton, but by Greg Penner definitively was that this team was going to be opportunistically aggressive in free agency. And he said it with a tone that was like, I'm not effing around here. He wasn't making jokes at the podium like Sean Payton was, talking about old stories and, whatever. He was serious. And I don't think we've gotten a payoff yet on that statement or that distinction from the owner of the team who's got the deepest pockets in professional sports. If anything, I think they've been intentionally or comfortably passive, way more so than they've been opportunistically aggressive.
Yeah, the word I used initially over the last couple of days was disappointing. I did want the Broncos to be more aggressive, and now I've kind of shifted to baffling. But you bring up running back, which I think is a good transition here. And Fella's sort of the last big-name running back out there that I don't think is getting talked about enough. We know Walker and Etienne and Dowdle and Gainwell all went off the board on that first day. But, Stink, I got to ask you, is Breece Hall still in the mix? I know he got tagged by the Jets, and the reports were they tagged him because they thought that the Broncos were going to sign him. And Darren Muji, the Jets GM, was the assistant GM here in Denver, obviously still has good relationships with those guys, but you see Breece still going on Twitter about apparently we have money, whatever, because the Jets are spending big. Is Breece Hall the name that is still maybe in the back of our minds? You could work out a trade with the Jets, and that would make Broncos country feel a lot better.
Yeah, well, Broncos country would go crazy if that were the case. I just don't like. There's one dude on the Jets right now, as currently constructed, that you would go, yeah, I'll buy a ticket to watch the Jets because of this guy, and that's Breece Hall.
Not Garrett Wilson anymore?
Garrett Wilson has just been somewhat of a disappointment.
He had moments, but
he had great moments.
I also feel like you rarely buy a ticket for a wide receiver. Like maybe if you're Justin Jefferson in Minnesota or something like that. But yeah, I think a running back is easier to be a buy a ticket guy than a wide receiver because he's less dependent on the quarterback.
So they may not trade their big ticket item.
I don't think they're going to trade their big ticket item. I think you look at them. You look at them as an offense right now, and how do you get Geno playing at a Pro Bowl level again? How do you get you got to run the ball. You got to protect Geno. I mean, he just got last year when people just bag on Geno, dude, I don't care. Stretch Armstrong couldn't have had success. Aquaman would have gotten crushed. It doesn't matter who you were with the Raiders. They were so bad. I mean, so bad. And it's exactly why you've seen them spend $280 million in free agency. I mean, they and I appreciate this about the Raiders, and I go back and forth with Raider fans, but admitting that you suck, like you admitted that you absolutely suck based upon what you did in free agency.
Yeah.
Like you had to overhaul your entire roster.
And oh, by the way, you fired your head coach.
You fired your head coach. You fired the fact that you gave Chip Kelly a 3-year, $18 million deal to be a coordinator. Like you have had to revamp everything. And so they have done that. I look at no quarterback could have success under those circumstances. So I think they look at themselves and say, hey, man, we get Geno back the way he was playing in Seattle. We've got Breece Hall to take that pressure off. If we continue to address our offensive line, what we've done in the draft and everything else, they could be an above-average group. Like I think they feel in New York like, hey, man, we could do something here. And, I'm buddies with Aaron Glenn, so I've talked to Aaron Glenn about how people want to, his words, not mine, want to be there in New York. And so we'll see. I don't think that that's going to be realistic.
But is the connection with Muji strong enough, Richie, that maybe you can do business? I saw Schefter tweeting the other day that Muji's been there a year. He's made something like 10 trades.
Yeah.
And this guy is the Chris McFarland of the NFL, the Avalanche GM, who's made 9 trades last year, made 4 trades this year. He likes to wheel and deal. Would that sort of, quote-unquote, save free agency if all of a sudden, today, tomorrow, early next week, whatever, you get that Schefter bomb, that Ian Rappaport bomb, the Broncos are sending a first-round pick or a second-round pick or whatever it is to the New York Jets in exchange for running back Breece Hall?
I think anybody will do business if the price is right, and I think you have a leg up if you have a very positive relationship with the person on the other end of the negotiating table, which obviously these two do. That being said, though, to Mark's point, you just brought back Geno Smith. You're in a state of...
You're tanking for Arch, fellas.
Yeah. Well,
you're not trying to win next year if you're the Jets. You want Arch Manning walking through that door.
I don't disagree. That's why I said everybody will do business with for the right price. But I'm wondering if George Payton, even with a friendly negotiator on the other end of the table, is going to be willing to pay that price. That's a guy that loves his draft picks and is the opposite of Sean. He's the yang. Sean's more F them picks and let me go. I mean, how many picks did they give away to go get Adam Troutman?
All right.
You know what I mean?
Let me just give you 2 things. One, as far as Arch Manning, don't forget that Eli Manning was the number 1 pick in the draft that wouldn't play for the Giants.
Yep.
Or, excuse me, wouldn't play for the Chargers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Forced his way out of San Diego.
Forced his way out. So, Arch has got the history in his family of saying, like John Elway did, in regards to Baltimore, I'm not going to play there. So there is that history there of Arch. And if I was a quarterback and I was Peyton or Eli, I would not let my nephew play for the New York Jets. There's no way, and he's made plenty of money. He doesn't need the money.
Arch may not have the cachet to do that necessarily on his own, but his family does. And that
if he goes and wins a Heisman at Texas this year, he will.
If he does that, it's different.
Right. Okay, so then there's the other part of that. You talked about a trade, and you talked about a first-rounder. What is the value of, where do we pick 30th?
30.
What is the value of 30? Because I've talked to a bunch of GMs, and it's pretty much a consensus. There's usually about 15 to 17 first-round grades in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That means after 17, everybody else is a second-round pick. So at 30, is that enough capital? Is that enough cachet for the Jets to go, yeah, we'll give you Breece Hall? And the answer to that question is no way in HE double toothpicks are you giving up Breece Hall for the 30th overall pick.
What if I throw in Tyler Bidet?
Yeah.
I'd rather have a bidet than Tyler.
All right, Steven Kobza, you could be headed to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes, 303-713-1043 to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2-night tickets to the event. Round trip airfare for two from Denver to Vegas, 2-night hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Steven Kobza, call us now, 303-713-1043. And remember, if you haven't already signed up, still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. Last night at Ball Arena, the Nuggets won, and oh, baby, they won in a laugher. Is that championship team still there, deep down inside them? We will discuss next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040. I want to tell you about one of the cases I'm most proud of. And it's not because the number is eye-popping, although it is. It's because the clients trusted us to get them justice, and we delivered for them. Our clients were a wonderful couple, weren't looking to get rich. In fact, they kept saying, Dan, we're not looking to set any records here. But they were seriously injured, and despite promising to take care of them, when it came time to do the right thing, the insurance companies played hardball. We set it for trial and wound up getting $8.5 million. Plus, my lovely wife, Kimberly, was able to get all of their medical bills wiped out, putting hundreds of thousands of extra dollars in the clients' pockets. We were proud to help because our clients were good-hearted people who deserved justice. We hope you never need us, but if you do, we are here to help at 303 Law 4040, where you always get to meet directly with me and my lovely wife, Kimberly. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Is your money doing everything it can for you? Like automatically pushing more of your money to savings every day?
I don't think so.
Then switch to Huntington Bank. And let's get more from money. Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
The Terry Wickstrom Outdoor Show is broadcasting live from the Great American RV Show and Off-Grid Expo at the Colorado Convention Center, Saturday, March 14th from 9 to 11 a.m. with 400 plus 2026 RVs, off-grid adventure rigs, and the latest gear to fuel your next escape.
You live in Colorado, you love those mountain views. Well, you want to maximize your window space, your glass space, and you could do that with custom windows at WindowNation.com. WindowNation.com, they're there for you with over 1,500 styles and colors to choose from. And in March, the more you buy, the more you could save. Up to 50% off all window styles right now at windownation.com. You can go out there, get your windows done, and enjoy that beautiful Colorado scenery. It's windownation.com. Visit windownation.com for your free consultation today.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by TradeGen Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on ESPN Denver 1600, CSU basketball faces San Diego State with pregame starting at 6:30.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Music history.
I've now baptized you in the glory of Led Zeppelin.
Brutal honesty.
Today's just been a bad day for you, Mike. I don't know how else to put it.
And some questionable taste.
I do not heat up leftovers.
Oh, my
I only eat
God.
leftovers cold.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Last night at Ball Arena was so much fun. The Nuggets finally got a laugher. Oh, baby. It was needed. 129-93 over the Houston Rockets, a 36-point win. The Western Conference standings get even tighter. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans. Mark Schlereth here, of course. Richie Carney as well for Brandon Stokley. Richie, we'll start with you, man. Last night, the Nuggets absolutely throttled the Rockets. Just an excellent third quarter. Outscoring by 18, 40-22. And I think the biggest takeaway was both Christian Brown and Cam Johnson looked like confident basketball players, sort of reminding us of what the ceiling for this team can be.
Yeah, they always say, right, sometimes, especially in basketball, you just got to see one go through the net, right? You just got to see one go in, and you can start to get into rhythm, and that's how both players felt and looked, it felt like, last night, and especially Cam Johnson, whose season has gone the way that it's gone thus far. And it is, to your point, something that reminded me of, like, hey, this is a team that can be to use the words of Jake Shapiro, actually to use the words of David Adelman, a major problem in the playoffs. The question is being a major problem enough of a reputation or expectation for this team? Because I think it's just, we talk about cup or bust for the Avs. I think it's NBA Finals or bust for this Nuggets team, given the sense of urgency that they laid out at the start of the season and the fact that they have the greatest basketball player, in my mind, in the world, once again, centering their roster.
Guys, this was the first time I've watched the Nuggets this year where the Nuggets look like the Nuggets to me.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first half, the amount of fast breaks, the amount of rebounds into fast break, the amount of turnovers created. I think Joker had 5 turnovers. He created 5 turnovers, and how those things ended up in points. And sometimes, to get your offensive confidence back, it's just a layup. It's just getting to the 10. Things that I hadn't seen with the Denver Nuggets until last night. And then to watch a guy like Christian Brown, who looked anemic on the offensive end of the court, who looked afraid on the offensive end of the court, who had a wide-open shot on the offensive end of the court through the first part of this season and looked like he just wanted to turn it away. Like anybody else shoot. Anybody. Like when you were a kid and you were playing by yourself and you had that last-second shot, you didn't go, hey, clock's running down, 3, 2, 1, pass it over to that guy. You took the shot, right? Yeah. And for me, it was like at the end of it was like anytime he got the ball, he was looking to distribute because he lacked so much confidence in his shot. And to watch him not only knock down some layups, to watch him hit that 3-pointer at the end of the second quarter,
yes.
I was just like, yes.
And that was from like almost 30 feet. Like he didn't. Yeah. He was well beyond the arc there and was just hunting for that shot, and he found it.
To your point, Richie, to watch Cam Johnson have a couple of balls go through a couple of 3-pointers go through. Aaron Gordon didn't score a point. Aaron Gordon was plus 17 with 0 points. I just that was what the Nuggets, to me, especially playing at home, that's what they have to be, and it just felt like such a half-court game through the majority of this season, and that felt like Nuggets basketball, like a little bit of Malone got into Adelman, and that made me feel really confident. I went from feeling like, man, this is going to be the most disappointing Nuggets playoff run because they're going to get bounced early, to going, oh, that gave me hope. That gave me like, ooh, wait a minute, man, my meter, my Debbie Downer meter has just ticked up.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I thought that third quarter was one of their best of the year. I mean, they desperately needed a laugher, and they got one. And this is why, to your point, I can't quit them as a title contender.
Yeah.
Because deep down, a championship team is still in there. It is. It's there. If you close your eyes hard enough, can you picture yourself with Mike and Stoke broadcasting at a Nuggets parade in downtown Denver this summer?
100%. Because I think they're that talented. And they're going to get, like, the big issue with Michael Malone over the years has been lack of bench, right? And when Calvin Booth was here, he wanted to play all the young guys and this, that. But, like, they want playoff veteran guys. And you've got that now with Bruce Brown being back. You've got that now with Hardaway being there. You've got guys off the bench, Valanciunas, that you can trust to give you the minutes, to give your big star a break. The one thing the Nuggets haven't been able to do at all these last couple of years is to take the Joker off the court. Like they can't take him off the court because they'll have a 9-point lead and it'll be gone within 3 possessions. Gone. We got to bring him back. We got to bring him back. And so they've got a rotation now where you can actually maintain. If you build a lead or if you're even, you're not just gonna get blown out of the gym.
Sure.
And so I just think they're so much better constructed. It comes down to health, and it comes down to the confidence of Christian Brown. It comes down to the confidence of Cam as well. And if they have that, if those two guys can play with that kind of confidence they played with last night, like, this team, I think, can be dangerous.
You add in a Tim Hardaway Jr. who has never met a shot that he didn't like, and he hit plenty of them last night. You brought up Valanciunas, 6 for 6 from the field, 12 points in 12 minutes, spelling Jokic as a backup 5. I mean, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. If this team has what they had last night, which is guys that are going to hit the open shots when they need it, they really can beat anybody. If that's the Christian Brown that you're getting, who was active and electric on the defensive end just as much as he was on the offense. Jokic had 5 steals. His stat line at halftime, by the way, was hilarious. It was 6, 7, 9, and 5.
We were on quadruple double watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At halftime, he was 6, 7, 9, and 5, and he has a triple-double in 3 quarters. It was his 25th overall in the season. Now, you're not going to run into a lot of teams, I think, in the playoffs that go 4 for 33 from beyond the arc like the Rockets did. But it was an encouraging performance, one that I don't want to read too much into. But given the slug of a season that it's been, it felt really good to get a little monkey off the back.
Let me just say this on the 4 of 30, whatever they were shooting too. There was an energy within that building. There was an energy with which they played defense. And if I'm Adelman, I am showing them that tape, going, guys, when we play defense like this, when we have that energy around the perimeter, and we challenge shots, and we don't get discouraged when a couple of them go in. When we challenge shots, what it leads to on the offensive end is what's going to be the difference maker between how deep we go in the playoffs and if we get bounced. And I think it's legit. I think the way they played last night was that's a legit thing to think about. So anyhow, really fun to watch. Although I got to be honest, at the end of the third quarter, I was dozing, and I was like, because it was just it was a laugher at that point.
You picked a good
It
time.
was in hand.
There was no drama.
So I did not watch the fourth quarter, but I did watch the first 3, and it was dynamic, man. It was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. You look at the Western Conference standings. I mean, gosh, the Rockets 40-25, the Lakers 40-25, the Nuggets 40-26, and the Timberwolves 40-26. I mean, this thing could not be tighter.
Right,
3 through 6.
That's the story of the Western Conference.
Yeah, and real quick, do you subscribe to the theory that the 3 or the 6 is important to get on the other side of the bracket of the Thunder? Because the NBA doesn't reseed. It's bracketed.
Yes.
So if you're the 3 or the 6, you cannot play Oklahoma City till the Western Conference Finals.
I think that's imperative because I think Oklahoma City is that good. I think Shea is that good. And, when we lost a tight game, everyone said it was a great game. And they didn't have Hardenstein. They didn't have Chet Holmgren. They didn't have Jalen Williams. They didn't have, Caruso off the bench in that game. And they still found a way to beat us in OKC. I think they are the class of the NBA, and we need to avoid them until the Western Conference Finals. I do believe that.
I'll say quickly, I want to know what the roster looks like when we're leading up to playoff time. Because if the Nuggets are fully healthy going into the first round of the playoffs and they've had a little bit of a runway where they can build it up, I'm actually not opposed to seeing Oklahoma City sooner than later, especially even if it means in the first round, because you're going to have to go through them anyways. And if I have an opportunity to play them at full strength and give them our best shot because we know what we're going to get from them, I'm not against that, rather than say, hey, we don't have to face them until the Western Conference Finals, but by the time we get there, we've had some unfortunate injuries happen, we've been beaten up, we're tired, we're whatever, and then we don't give our best punch.
Let's circle back to that in the fourth hour because that is an interesting conversation. In the meantime, tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/hoops to enter our 5K bracket challenge presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off a week from today, March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. One host on the station has some pushback on how much the morning show values tight end Kenyon Sadiq. Oh, you know who it is. Zach By, Rantin' and Raven next.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K bracket challenge presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, you live with back pain, neck pain. How about needing surgery? Worried about that? How about taking all those habit-forming medications? Well, my guys at Spine One specialize in treatments that offer alternatives to major surgery and long-term medication. And here is the best part. Same-day appointments. That's right. You can start your journey toward pain-free today. They're a phone call away, 303-367-2225, 303-367-BACK. Spine One is a complete medical center for spine care. They can do the exams, the MRIs, the physical therapy, the x-rays right there in their facility, and they're going to sit you down. They're going to educate you on why you're in pain and then give you options for both nagging and debilitating pain. Guys, they changed my life. I suffered with debilitating pain for decades to the point where it just checked me out of life. I couldn't go to the gym. I quit playing golf. I just couldn't do it anymore. I played golf one day. I'd be crippled for the next 4. I couldn't sleep through the night. A couple of short visits to my guys at Spine One. I was back in the gym, back on the golf course, most importantly, sleeping through the night again. They can do it for you as well. Don't live in pain any longer. Don't be checked out of life. Call them today. 303-367-2225, 303-367-BACK, or find them online at spineone.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
At Belco Credit Union, we want to make your dream renovation a reality. Maybe that means a modern kitchen upgrade or a luxurious new bathroom. With Belco's Home Equity Choice line, you can get easy access to funds with the freedom and convenience of a home equity line of credit, plus the security and stability of a home equity loan. Plus, Belco is also offering low rates for qualified borrowers. Learn more at belco.org/choiceline. Belco is an equal opportunity housing lender. Belco, banking for everyone.
What's going on, guys? Philip Lindsay here. Are you facing an unexpected out-of-pocket expense for your new roof? In 2024 and 2025, 37% of insurance storm claims have gone unpaid. Before you commit a costly full replacement, you need to give Roof Restore Denver a call today. Their roof repair and shingle rejuvenation process can save you up to 80% compared to replacing your roof. They're going to restore the essential oils in your asphalt shingles, extend their lifespan, improve durability, and even enhance curb appeal. Plus, every service includes a 5-year transferable warranty. So give Roof Restore Denver a call today at 720-749-9777 or visit roofrestoredenver.com. Again, that's roofrestoredenver.com.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
And if you could go for a deal, now get free medium fries with the purchase of any hot, juicy Quarter Pounder with cheese or new Big Arch. Just what your cravings ordered. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you want a new car, you want it now. That's why AutoNation moves at the speed of savings. Right now, put your tax refund to work at AutoNation. Even drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. No speed bumps, no detours, just great prices on new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save on thousands of vehicles with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Act fast, save now at your nearest AutoNation store. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details. Expires 3/31/26.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, National Western Complex. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. National Western Complex. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. National Western Complex. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. National Western Complex. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. National Western Complex. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. National Western Complex. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue today. The most passionate, intelligent, and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 1043 and never miss another take. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan. Self-appointed nicknames.
Obviously, I am the hockey guy at this station.
Grammar lessons.
High five, Fama Jamma.
And Oscar-worthy impressions.
My version was, get off my plane. Okay. Yours was, get off my plane.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
The morning show may have beef with the afternoon show, as usual. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans with Mark Schlereth
pound his ass.
and Richie Carney hanging out on a Thursday. All right, guys, we know that Mike and Stoke and Mark high on Kenyon Sadiq, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's a great player, great tight end. I think a lot of people would like him in Broncos country. Of course, Zach Bye yesterday had to pour cold water on that. Before we get to
He can't be that guy.
Zach, real quick, Mark, I know you've watched a lot of Sadiq film.
Uh-huh.
If this dude's in orange and blue, I think you're going to be pretty fired up along with Broncos country.
Yeah, because he's exactly opposite of what I thought he was. Normally, when I see a guy that runs, it's 6'3", that's 240 whatever pounds, that runs a 4.38, the fastest 40 time in combine history, that had a 40-plus inch vertical jump, I instantly think athlete, not football player. And that instantly turns me off. So I downloaded 3 games, got on the plane, heading to Tampa last Friday, and I went through all 3 games. And I don't download, Oregon versus the Blind Sisters of the Poor. I go Oregon, USC. I go Oregon, Wisconsin. I go or Indiana. I go to good teams, right? Good teams. Penn State was another one that I did. All right, so Penn State, and I'm watching this cat play, and the first thing that jumped off the tape to me is this guy's a football player. Beautiful stance, and I'm thinking, okay, a guy that's that kind of speed, he's going to run cutoffs. He's going to be on the backside of run plays, and no, he's a front side. Take you off the ball, mano-a-mano with a defensive end, and sustain in blocks. Perfectly balanced stance, great footwork off the ball in the run game, good hands, sustainability. They also, in the F counter game, where they run, a guard that pulls and the tight end that flips around. And so we call that, in my day, it was always counter with a guard and a tackle pulling. today it's F counter. They don't pull the tackles anymore because of the speed of the edge guys. So they block those guys up and they pull a tight end. And he's fitting in the line of scrimmage, reading the blocks, fitting in and dipping his hips and just putting his face on linebackers that are bigger than him and driving them out of the hole. Like, I was so impressed with his ability to play football. My one critique on him was I wish he was more violent after he caught the ball. But in the run game, like, this is what most guys can't do, and nobody that runs that fast and that has that kind of skill set athletically, just about nobody actually blocks anybody because they don't think it's important. Just put me out in the slot and let me run like a wide receiver. This guy's a football player. So I was thoroughly impressed, and then I talked to another NFL team, and they are like, we traded notes, and they made me go first, and the head coach I was talking to said, I am so glad because we see him the exact same way you see him. He is freaking phenomenal as a football player. So that's where I'm at.
Well, you got me ready to run through a wall for Sadiq, and Broncos do anything possible to get him, even trade up if they need to. Here's maybe the arch nemesis of your show, Zach Bye, pouring cold water on Kenyon Sadiq.
In the 3 most important games of the year in the college football playoff, this generational prospect had 19 yards, 22 yards, and 29 yards. And he's being comped to guys like Brock Bowers and Tyler Warren.
Yeah, you can't. We got to stop doing that.
I can just help you. Brock Bowers at Georgia, 882 yards his first year, 942 yards his second year. His third year, he missed 4 games and was still almost 750 yards, over 30 touchdowns at Oregon. Or excuse me, at Georgia, over 30, 31. Tyler Warren, his last year at Penn State, 104 catches for over 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Colston Loveland, his last year at Michigan, he missed 3 games and he was almost 600 yards at 58 yards a game. Kenyon Sadiq, as tantalizing of a prospect that he is, was not productive in college and is more prospect than player.
What do you make of that?
So, like, I would tell Zach that first and foremost, math has never blocked anybody.
Fair enough.
Okay?
That's a good point.
Math doesn't block people. And, different offenses, obviously different focal points. He was not the focal point of their passing game. As dynamic an athlete as he is, he just wasn't. And ultimately, he's a better blocker than Brock Bowers. He's a better blocker than Loveland. He's a better blocker than any of those guys you mentioned. And Ty Warren. And Ty Warren was a complete player. Now, I like Ty Warren coming out a lot. I liked him a lot. But, again, you got to understand that it's not an apples-to-apples comparison. You didn't play at Georgia. You didn't play in the same offense. You weren't asked to do the same things. And just as a complete football player, I'm telling you, the guy is a complete football player. I don't know what he's going to be in the NFL. I don't. But I guarantee you, if you think he's going to slip into the mid-20s and you can get him, I guarantee you he's going in the top 15.
Listen, Zach he's very good at researching, and he has tons of context, historical and otherwise, to back his points. Freaks. And it's valid. Listen, there's a big gamble, just like there was with Kyle Pitts, in drafting and investing in a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, who athletically jumps off the page and does all those things. And I think it's a positive note that he's more well-rounded, Mark, based on your observation. But again, just like math has never blocked anybody, you can make data and bring examples to say whatever you want. You know how productive George Kittle was in his senior season at Iowa? 300 yards, 22 catches. That's half of what Kenyon Sadiq just did. I think we'd all take George Kittle's NFL career at tight end. Same could be said for Sam Laporta, pretty dynamic tight end at the NFL level.
And by the way, both those guys came out, like Sam Laporta was, I think, a third rounder.
Almost an identical year to Sadiq, by the way.
And I know that George Kittle was a fifth rounder, but both those guys came from a university where blocking was a premium, and those guys could both block coming out, and they're really good. They're not liabilities in the run game. And again, I went in with this predisposition of thinking of what Sadiq was because of his speed and his combine numbers. And I came out thinking something exactly opposite as I studied him. Like, he's a football player. And like, I am so glad the Atlanta Falcons re-signed Kyle Pitts because I think he's a one-dimensional player. I just am not. I'm not a Kyle Pitts guy. You can have him because I just don't think he does enough as a football player. And ultimately, it's how you look at the game and how you study the game and what you believe in. But I just think you're comparing apples to oranges when you're comparing Sadiq to Brock Bowers or some of those other guys.
TJ Hawkinson from the same university who was drafted well ahead of the 5th round like those other two we just mentioned. Same amount of receptions, less touchdowns than a guy like Kenyon Sadiq. So numbers can say whatever you want them to say. Mm-hmm. But if Kenyon Sadiq is evaluated by George and Sean Payton and is like unanimously, hey, this is a guy that can change and take our offense to the next level, then go for it. If not, then don't.
Noah Fant also came out of said university as well. Former Broncos.
Been the most productive
pick.
tight end for the Broncos since Super Bowl 50, right?
Coming up next, are the Broncos too prioritized on team guys and culture fit to the point that it's becoming a little bit of a detriment in free agency? We will dive into it.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/Superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention, families of loved ones in nursing homes, whether past or present. If you believe your loved one suffered abuse or neglect while living in a nursing facility, listen closely. You may be entitled to significant financial compensation. Across the country, nursing homes have been cited for unsafe conditions, understaffing, and failures that put residents at serious risk. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, medical neglect, malnutrition, and unexplained injuries can happen when facilities fail to protect those in their care. If you believe your loved one suffered abuse of any kind while in a nursing home, you may have the right to pursue justice. Speaking up could help protect your loved one and prevent the same harm from happening to others. Call our Nursing Home Abuse Helpline now for a free and confidential claim review to see if your case may qualify for substantial compensation. Call now. Time to file may be limited.
Call 800-711-4497. That's 800-711-4497. 800-711-4497.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship. And that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly with nationwide 5G because Cricket is on the AT&T network. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you. And you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people. so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Tom's Garage Doors. Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're gonna do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors. Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Colorado. Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors. Guys, we've had the driest winter in decades, over 50 years in some areas, and that means a higher wildfire risk. Now's the time to protect your home. 5280 Exteriors installs fire-resistant, non-combustible, low-maintenance upgrades built to handle Colorado's extreme weather. Choose James Hardy siding, Timber Tech decking, and Pella Impervia fiberglass windows. Plus, get 60 months no-interest financing. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
Denver counts on Fix-It 24/7 for heating and plumbing with legendary service. Proud partner of the Denver Broncos and proud to serve the community. Book now at fixmyhome.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Able Builders, it's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on ESPN Denver 1600, CSU basketball faces San Diego State with pregame starting at 6:30.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Listener appreciation.
Our RamosLaw.com texters always answer the bell.
Mentorship.
You can't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. And words of wisdom.
Don't let my confidence offend your insecurity.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
So are the Broncos too prioritized on team guys and culture fit to the point that it's becoming a detriment? It's Will Peterson and Richie Carney in for Stoke and Evans, and Mark Schlereth, of course, is here. Stink, I feel like you've been a pretty big defender of the Broncos staying the course. Is that an accurate representation?
I'm explaining what I think their mindset was. Listen, man, I love J.K. Dobbins. I wouldn't have re-signed him. The other thing, especially not to $10 million a year or whatever it was, and the other thing about J.K. Dobbins is, for me, is who else out there was going to sign J.K. Dobbins? He was on the street last year until June. So, like, were you bidding? Were the Rockies negotiating this? Did you bid against
Calvin
yourself?
Booth.
Right? Like, I don't know the answer to that question. I know they like him. I know they love what he brings. I know the energy that he brings. And I think he's a damn good running back. For 8 games a year, he's your guy. But I thought you need to get somebody that's got a history of being available. Tyler Algier has missed 1 game during the course of his career. Now, his numbers have gone down, but that's because Bijan Robinson's numbers have gone way up. And when Tyler Algier gets a chance to carry the ball, it's in 3rd down and 2. It's in 2nd down and 2. So you're running against a stacked box where you're putting your bean on people and moving a pile from 2 yards to 3 yards for the 1st down. And so all of a sudden people are like, well, you know, his yards per carry has dropped. He's only about 3.1. Yeah, because he's always running in short yardage goal line. That's the only time he gets to touch the ball. So, of course, his numbers are going to be down. This is where numbers lie. This is why you have to look at all those numbers and understand the context of what those numbers are actually saying to you. So I would have loved to see them go for a guy that historically has been able to answer the bell for 17 games. And he hasn't. So that bothered me. The other thing, I think they become very predictable. When I went through the Troutman film the other day, I went through all the run plays of 5 games. And when Troutman was in base runs, 1st and 10, 2nd down and 5 or less, that's when they ran the ball. If your guy, I mean, there was maybe of all those plays, call it 20 plays a game of run on average, okay? So you're looking at, 100 plays at 20 plays a game, right? If you look at 5 plays, I think I can remember Evan Ingram being in there for 4 or 5 plays. So you tell me as a defense, if you're saying, hey, man, if it's 1st and 10 or 2nd down and 5 minus and Troutman is in, there's probably an 80% likelihood of them running the ball. Do you think that's a tell for a defense?
Yes.
Do you think you lean into that?
Of course.
Hey, if Evan Ingram is in there and he's only blocked 5 times, like 80% of the time they're throwing it, do you think that's a tell? Do you think you give the defense okay, we're going to go, Ingram's in this package and it's 1st and 10, nickel.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist.
No, it's pretty simple stuff. And so, those are things that you have to really think about. And this is why I think it's like Mike always argues with me, and I basically told him, you need to stop arguing with me because I just know more than you. But this is where this argument ended yesterday. I was like, this is why it's important to have a guy that can do both.
So you're not defending the Broncos in action necessarily. You're more explaining to the listeners why they're doing what they're doing.
I would have loved to seen them get a tight end that can do both. I loved, I loved Cade Otton. I loved Higbee from the Rams who re-signed with the Rams. I thought that would have been a good get.
Listen, for me, it's not about how much money did you spend. Did you get the guy that was on the top of everybody's free agent board? Are the TV shows and the talking heads praising you or talking about you, whatever? It's about, are you systematically attacking and using the resources that you have available, whether it's cap space, draft capital in trades, whatever, to plug the holes on your roster? And the Broncos have, for 2 off seasons now, had holes at 3 of the exact same spots, and the ones from last year are the same this year. I don't have a problem, in theory, with bringing back J.K. Dobbins, but doing that is there's a comma and. J.K. Dobbins alone doesn't solve your running back problem because it didn't solve your running back problem last year when you brought him in June at the start of mandatory minicamp. So for me, it's okay, that's great. They brought back J.K. Dobbins. They paid him less or more than they could have if they had gone for like a Tyler Algier or something like that.
Or Rico Dowdle.
Right? And hey, if you like JK, that's your guy. He was a fringe top 5 rusher when healthy at the start of that season. But he's never been healthy for a season in his career, at least not an entire 17-game season.
Yeah, and he's barking at people going, this is going to be the year. Yeah, I bet you've said this is going to be the year that all these fluke injuries don't happen to me. I bet you said that for 6 straight years.
And I hope he's right. But the point is, the Broncos are asking all of us to either pretend like that hasn't happened or to say we believe confidently that something's going to happen that our eyes have told us is very, very unlikely up to this point. So it requires another move. And since I don't know what that other move is in the running back room, in my opinion, it leaves to be desired.
Yeah, they're certainly running it back. I mean, that's clearly the strategy. They're one of only 2 teams in the entire NFL, them and the Seahawks, that has not signed a new free agent. Is this Sean Payton, Mark, being stubborn in a sense, or is he just sticking to his guns of, I got this team to 14-3, I'm ready to do it again with pretty much the same football team?
Yeah, I think part of it is stubborn. Part of it is the belief in the guys that you have and the development that's going to go on, right? I think a lot of it also is, man, we had a ton of opportunities for big plays, especially early in the season, and our quarterback couldn't execute. And he's going to take that next step where all of a sudden we're going to look like a much more dynamic offense, and people will be saying, oh, it's because of Davis Webb. And it's no, because our players, are making, our quarterback is making plays. Plays that were there last year that we didn't connect on that we're connecting on this year because of another year of maturity and another year of pocket presence and another year of understanding our offense better. Like a lot of times what you have to think about as a player, when you see things a little bit late, when you're not 100% sure, well, it makes you late. And when you're late, you know what especially as a quarterback, when you're late, you hurry. When you hurry, you lose accuracy. And there were plenty of shot plays in this offense that should have been touchdowns. When I looked at all the targets of Evan Ingram, there were probably 4 or 5 plays in the. I think I looked at 5 games. Maybe I looked at 8 games. But whatever it was, there were probably, and they didn't take a lot of shots with Evan Ingram, but there were probably 4 or 5 plays they took shots to Evan Ingram that were wide open that they missed on all 5 of them.
And was that more on Bo or on Evan?
All on Bo.
All on Bo.
Just missed the throw. And so you start looking at that, and then you start, if you're a coach and you've evaluated all the film, you go like, this is open, this should have been a hit, this should have been the hit, this would have been a great catch, this would have been. But you start looking at it and go, okay, what would our offense look like? What would our 3-and-outs look like if we hit on these third down plays? Let's say we hit 50% of them. We hit 50% of them. Bo's over 4,000 yards, and he's got now, I don't know how many touchdowns he had, but now he's got close to 40 touchdowns. And so you start looking at it that way and going, do we really need to overspend on a guy that's probably the same as the guy we have here? No. Yeah. And I think that's their mindset. Now, we can argue it all day long, but it's not going to do us any good because they're not. It's not like they're going to restart free agency and let's run it back. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, 72 hours has come and gone. A lot of the free agents are off the board. And speaking of the Broncos, there is news on Dre Greenlaw. It's official, and we'll pass it along to you next.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K Bracket Challenge, presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Well, busy time right now. Free agency, stretch run before the playoffs, and tax season. Which one of these don't belong? If you are dealing with tax problems and you think you could be in trouble with the IRS, or you're in trouble with the IRS, get Advanced Tax Solutions on your side immediately. Todd Whalen is the founder of Advanced Tax Solutions, and he is the dude. More than 30 years of experience. He's a CPA, an enrolled agent, a tax resolution specialist. He's certified to fight the IRS in tax court where he's undefeated. Todd and his team is who you want on your side if you're facing tax levies, tax debt, back taxes, or any other type of tax problem. People can fall behind on their taxes. It happens. The key is to get back into the system, even if times are tough right now. According to Todd Whalen, it might be the best time to get the most favorable deal from the IRS when you're at your worst financially. Advanced Tax Solutions has a long list of clients that they've saved thousands of dollars and untold headaches. So call 303-753-6040 and at advancedtaxsolutions.com.
When you've been serving Colorado as long as I have, you see a lot of new law firms come and go. Many of them aren't even from here. They don't know Colorado law the way we do. I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. For 47 years, we've been fighting and winning for Coloradans. This is our home. We care about our community, and we care about the safety of every resident who lives here. So if you've been injured and need real Colorado experience on your side, call the Wilhite Law Firm, 303-GOOD-LAW. The Wilhite Law Firm. Experience you can trust, results you can count on.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spring weather is unpredictable. You never know which way you'll be adjusting your thermostat unless you have the right windows. And that's why with WindowNation.com, you can count on your home being comfortable regardless of the weather. Their windows are customizable and energy efficient. Expert installers take just one day, and Window Nation products are backed by a lifetime warranty. There's no better time to upgrade with Window Nation. In March, the more you buy, the more you could save. Up to 50% off all window styles. Visit WindowNation.com for your free consultation today.
Running a business is hard enough. Odoo makes it easier with one simple, all-in-one platform. Start today at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Names that rhyme, takes that hit different. Shapiro and Piro is happy hour sports talk built for the modern fan. Local stories, hidden gems, and the mustache monologues you never knew you needed. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel. Subscribe now at Denver Sports 1043 and get in on the action. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan. Delusional confidence.
I'm tougher than Mark.
Strong detective work.
Something was way off with him, like some kind of bad gummy bear or something. I don't know. It was just
Gummy bear.
And personal hygiene.
Holy Moses. Guy's excited about showering.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
There is Broncos news this morning. Dre Greenlaw officially released. We saw it coming for a couple of days, but it's on the wire now. Dre Greenlaw is no longer a Denver Bronco. It's a post-June 1st cut designation. Broncos will save about $8 million moving on from Dre Greenlaw. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans, Richie Carney in for Stoke, and of course Mark Schlereth here as well. All right, fellas, Dre Greenlaw, let's start with you, Stink. Why did it fail? I think we can all agree it failed. The Dre Greenlaw experiment did not work here in Denver. Why did it not when we all had such high expectations? I mean, it was exactly a year ago. Everyone was very excited about this signing.
I was excited about this signing. I spent some time during training camp just kind of one-on-one with Sean, and he was just like over the moon just about the physicality the guy brought, the way he hit people. You know, when he hits you, you're stuck. There's no leaky yardage, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I go back to all my time of covering San Francisco games and just how dynamic and what a tone setter he was. There's very few guys that can be intimidating in the NFL because everybody's big and physical and stuff. But he was one of those dudes that was just kind of an intimidator. The way he hit people, the way he just stopped guys in their tracks, and the way he talked smack and all those things were great. And you just felt like, man, all right, 2 years removed now from the Achilles, and he's going to be ready to explode on the scene. He's going to be healthy. And from training camp on, he just never was. He kept having soft tissue injuries. It was a calf, it was a quad or a hamstring or whatever it was, and he just never was the dynamic player you thought he was going to be, and it was just disappointing. And then on top of that, when Justin Sternad came in and played, he was actually better. Like his movement skills, the way he, attacked the line of scrimmage, I just thought he played better, and a lot of that probably is because Greenlaw was just never actually healthy at any time in the season.
Yeah, for me, there's two reasons why it didn't work. One, as you alluded to, Mark, he was never healthy. It started from basically the moment he set foot over there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. It lasted all off preseason and during the offseason conditioning and then into the regular season. But also, I think mentally, he just didn't mesh with what that defensive unit, which was firing on all cylinders, had. He compared learning Vance Joseph's defense to learning Spanish and speaking two completely different languages. And this is a guy that played at an all-pro caliber level in San Francisco. So I think you combine the fact with he felt like oil and water and he struggled to really catch on and be his productive self in VJ's system, which I think is more of a him thing than VJ's system because of the other players having success in it, namely his former teammate Talanoa Hufanga, who is a captain of this team, and then, the health. And maybe there's an argument to be made that if he had 4 or 5 more reps in training camp, he could have been a different player.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, Richie. Very well done.
You put it on my radar. I was like, we got to.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very well done.
But I don't think that would have helped.
I think what you said, and I hadn't heard that from him about Vance Joseph's system. And Vance is very, like, you'll motion across and you will run across with a motion guy, which is a man zone indicator, and you'll motion across with the guy, so everybody thinks you're playing man. You'll play zone out of that, and like, he does a lot of things and brings a lot of pressures and asks guys to do a lot of stuff. Under Robert Saleh, who was the defense coordinator for a long time with Dre Greenlaw in that San Francisco system, listen, man, they played essentially one defense, and they played it exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And there wasn't – and Robert Saleh's philosophy is, we're going to do one thing better than you. Like, we're better than you. We'll do this one thing. We're always in the right spots, and then we're going to be aggressive. Guys are not going to miss. Guys are going to fly around and hit you. And we're going to have athletes that, especially in the linebacker position, that can drop in their zone hooks, and they can get extra depth because they know it so well. So instead of being at 10 yards, they're at 14 yards, but they're athletic enough to spring on a shallow cross and tackle you for 3 yards, and then you're behind the chains. And that's what they did. They didn't vary from what they played very much. They adhered to what they did. And Vance is completely different. Vance is going to play a lot of different things, bring a lot of different pressures, bring a lot of different coverages, do a lot of different things. Going to have split field coverages where you're playing zone on one side, man on the other side. You're going to do a lot of different things. And maybe it just, for some players, doing a lot of things makes you play slower. And maybe that was part of Dre Greenlaw's problem.
All right, but I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because both you guys have brought up Stranad. And obviously we know he got fairly big money. He's going to be a starter. He got starter money. I'm good with that. I am. I think Justin Stranad proved he's a starting inside linebacker in the NFL. I think where fans are struggling with this a little bit, especially now that Dre Greenlaw has officially been cut. Alex Singleton's a great story. Awesome story. Dude beat cancer. Missed one game. No one's questioning his toughness, his heart, his guts, his commitment to the team.
He's got balls, man.
But the
singular ball.
The tackling has been an issue with Alex Singleton. If you watch just the games on Sunday or you see the tape, feels like a lot of times I'm watching opposing tight ends run past Alex Singleton. So, Mark, wouldn't it have made sense to give Greenlaw one more year in this system so that if Singleton struggles again, then you could trot out Greenlaw and Stranad? I don't understand moving on for $8 million when cap space is not exactly an issue right now.
Yeah, but I think that what you have to understand is Vance Joseph will tell you that Singleton is his right-hand man.
Bingo.
He is the guy who calls the plays. He is the guy that does all those things. And then I think the other part of this, what people don't understand, when you see him get beat by a tight end or you see him, not be able to get through traffic on a running back who's, running a swing route or whatever, what you have to understand is the depth of this defense and how many times you're putting the hat on Alex Singleton or on a linebacker to say, hey, man, you got this matchup that's going to be incredibly tough, and we're just going to count on you. And you still look at that and you say, how good was this defense? They were a top defense in the league with those things. You're going to give up some plays every now and again because you're not going to play safe on third down. You're going to bring pressure. You're going to do those things to try to create a big play. And so I think it probably, you see enough of those plays where you're saying, oh, Alex Singleton stinks or whatever. I think he's a really good player. I think he's asked to do a lot that a lot of linebackers aren't asked to do. And so therefore, you're going to wear that hat. There's so many linebackers out there that you just don't put the hat on those guys. Like Devin Lloyd was a guy that was coveted, right? That everybody talked about Devin Lloyd being coveted. Devin Lloyd is a guy that had some interceptions and is played, exceptionally well, and he plays really hard. They try not to put Devin Lloyd in those positions. They try to bring him around the line of scrimmage, to try to blitz him a lot, because that's what he does the best. And that's where he's going to make a majority of his plays. So you've got to understand that we're asking Alex Singleton to do a lot of things that maybe a lot of other linebackers in this league aren't asked to do. And you're going to give up some plays playing that way.
Yeah, the green dot component for me definitely does impact some of those decisions, because then you'd be asking, if you ship him off, it's like, okay, well, Drake Greenlaw just told you learning VJ's defense is like speaking Spanish when you don't know Spanish, so you're going to ask him to take on those responsibilities? Mm-hmm. No, you could ask Justin Strnad to do it, and that might be a more logical choice. But again, you are a team and a defense that is a Super Bowl caliber defense that you believe, and it carried that offense for a good chunk of the beginning of the season. It wasn't egregious enough to me from Alex Singleton's perspective. And I do think Alex Singleton is a little bit like Riley Moss to a degree, where I think he gets a little bit more flack and hate for things. And the contributions on a positive note that he does just fly under the radar a lot more, just like Riley's mistakes are very visible and loud, but his better plays are kind of just like, well, that was a good play.
I'll tell you really quick. So doing a lot of Carolina games, they have a guy, Christian Roseboom, who's a former linebacker for the Rams, who became a starter over there. That I think it was Christian. They put in they put him in the green dot early, and he really wasn't playing that well. And they took him out of the green dot, gave it to Wallace, the other linebacker, and from that point forward, Roseboom just exploded. And I sat down and talked to him about it. He goes, man, there was just so much on my plate from calling the defense, doing everything else, that I was just a little bit late on everything. And it just wasn't – I had never done it. I wasn't comfortable doing it. And when they took it away from me, and I might have the two guys mixed up. It may have been the other guy that had that. It was one of those two guys. But anyhow, when they took it off my plate, that's when I exploded and started playing really good.
That freed the game up for him.
Freed him up. And so you got to, especially with Vance Joseph's defense, where there is so much, like I said, combination coverage. There's so many things you're asked to do. I think it's really hard just to put a guy in that green dot and say, hey, go take control of this defense.
All right. Well, Richie and Mark are good with the Broncos. Moving on from Drake Greenlaw. I probably would have run it back another year, but that has become official. Drake Greenlaw no longer a member of the Denver Broncos. In the meantime, Chad Lenning, you could be heading to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world, thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes, 303-713-1043, to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize. Pair of 2-night tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for two from Denver to Vegas, 2-night hotel stay, and $500 in the form of a Visa gift card. Chad Lenning, call us now, 303-713-1043. And don't forget, if you haven't already signed up, there's still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. All right, Richie Carney's got a theory on where the Nuggets should be in the playoff seeding. I think Mark and I are going to disagree, and we'll dive into it next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Well, the clocks have sprung forward. Spring and summer on deck. Going to be that time that you want to be outside, active, putting your best out there for everyone to see. But if you're not feeling that kind of confidence because you don't like what's happening to your hair, I may have a solution for you that worked so great for me. It's Advanced Hair Restoration, and it's their simple yet incredibly easy and effective one-day hair loss solution that begins to regrow your own natural hair, and it's even guaranteed to grow. My endorsement of Advanced Hair Restoration is backed by 20 years of success. Had this done that long ago when it was then and is today an overwhelming success. My endorsement also includes working with Dr. Tanya Paul. She did my hair back then. She'll do yours now. She is a true legend in this field, and along with her all-star team, boy, you couldn't be in better hands. Whether it's a bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning hair, all you need to do is choose how much hair and where, and Advanced Hair does the rest. For a limited time, get a free consultation, 250 free hair grafts, and $250 off. Just call 720-459-720-459-HAIR and at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Hey, Stokley here. I've talked about Trades and Wealth for a while. I'm actually a client, and let me tell you, they made retirement planning simple. No pressure, no confusion jargon. Every March, millions of us fill out our brackets, and no two look the same, right? Retirement planning is exactly like that. Your goals, your dreams, your lifestyle, they're unique to you. Trades and Wealth fiduciary advisors take the time to understand what you want your retirement to look like and build a plan that supports it. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to slow down and enjoy the simple things. Maybe you want to keep working part-time. Whatever your vision is, Trades and Wealth helps you craft a plan that fits you, your goals, and your needs. Put your future in the hands of a team that listens. Give Trades and Wealth a call today. 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100. Put the ball in your court and call Trades and Wealth today. They have offices Greenwood Village, Broomfield, and Loveland. 720-204-8100. Or you can find them online at tradesandwealth.com. TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trades and Wealth. Plan smarter. Dream bigger. Advisory services through Trades and Wealth, LLC, SEC registered investment advisor, client, paid advertisement, additional disclosures at tradesandwealth.com. This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by ROX, Rocks Heating and Air.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on ESPN Denver 1600, CSU basketball faces San Diego State with pregame starting at 6:30.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Food critiques.
I love chicken. I hate chicken salad. What? If you put chicken salad in front of me, I'd gag.
Hard-hitting analysis.
I took an Ambien on accident before practice, and that's what he looked like out there.
And some constructive criticism.
It reminded me of the show that Mike had yesterday. Just a little off, not completely there. You were like, Mike, are you going to take control of this show? Like, how many times did you say that yesterday?
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
So the Western Conference standings in the NBA are chaos. OKC and San Antonio have separated from the pack. They're going to be the 1 and 2 seeds. But the Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, and Timberwolves all have 40 wins. Houston and LA, 25 losses. Denver and Minnesota, 26 losses. It's Will Peterson in for Mike Evans. Richie Carney in for Stoke. Mark Schlereth here, of course. Fellas, we talked a lot about the game last night. I want to get back to that. But I want to focus on something you said, Richie, that you don't think it matters when the Nuggets play the Thunder. Mark and I want to avoid Oklahoma City as long as possible. Be the 3 or the 6, kick the can down the road, other side of the bracket, can't play them until the Western Conference Finals. You have a little bit of a different take on this.
Yeah, I don't want to go so far as to say I don't think that it matters, but I do think there are preferences and maybe more advantageous times to face a Thunder team that is you're going to have to go through at some point if you want to win an NBA title. And most years, I think I would say, and certainly when they met in the postseason last playoffs, I felt the way that it sounds like you and Mark feel. It's like, hey, stay on the opposite side of that bracket. Don't face them until the Western Conference Finals. Let them get beaten down or have to take cracks at other teams before they get to you, right?
It's science.
But if there's one thing that we know about this Nuggets team this season, it's that when they're at full strength and healthy, they look pretty damn good. We got 10 games of it at the start of the season, and they performed well in those games. This was the first win since mid-November for the Nuggets where they had their fully healthy opening night lineup. And it looked pretty good, did it not, guys?
Yeah.
So my thought is, if we're coming down the backstretch of a season where the Nuggets have had to survive so many injuries and fight through so many different transitions and philosophical changes and all of that stuff, if they can be healthy down the backstretch of this season, going into round 1 of the playoffs, why not take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in round 1 if that's how the bracket shakes out. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the...
Well, you'd have to be in the play-in for that to happen.
I'm not a fan of roster manipulation and all that. Michael Malone did that with the Trailblazers and the Spurs, and it was a disaster, and it blew up in his face. But I'm just saying, I'm actually not going to be bummed if the Nuggets do have to face the Thunder earlier than they anticipated, because if they're fully healthy and can give their best punch, I think that's a better chance of beating them than facing them in rounds 2 or 3 if they make it that far and running the risk of these injuries that have nagged them all season with Aaron Gordon, with Payton Watson, with Christian Brown, et cetera, to resurface.
Yeah, so for me, I look at OKC, and obviously SGA is unbelievable. When they are healthy, the depth they have with Hartenstein, with Holmgren, with all the guys that they have on their roster, with both Williams, that to me is formidable. But I also have watched the Nuggets with diminished ranks, because Aaron Gordon still had the hamstring last year during the playoffs, that they weren't 100%. They weren't take them to 7 games. And I don't think they fear OKC. I don't think the Nuggets fear them. I don't have enough, and I'm interested in tonight's game a lot, because I don't have enough knowledge of the Spurs. Like, are the Spurs a tougher matchup with Wemby for the Nuggets than OKC, or is OKC a tougher matchup? Because you're going to have to face one of them.
Yeah, I think it's OKC because they have the championship experience. I think in the NFL, you can go from not on anyone's radar to Super Bowl champion. That's what the Seattle Seahawks did this year. I think they were 60-1 preseason to win the whole thing.
The New York Giants, the year they beat the Patriots, right?
The NBA, you can't do that. You got to learn how to lose in the NBA. I think the Spurs are a prime candidate of learn how to lose. And where are the Spurs likely going to be? The 2, 3, 6, 7 side of the bracket. Hence why I want the Nuggets to be the 3 or the 6. In a perfect world, you play the Lakers in the first round in that 3-6. You take out LeBron like you did when you won the title.
Sure.
And then you get Wemby and the Spurs. Great team. I'm not trying to sleep on them. They may beat the Nuggets by 20 tonight because Denver's on no rest. That said, I like your chances more against San Antonio in round 2, and then you have Oklahoma City most likely waiting for you in the Western Conference Finals.
I'm sure you've watched a hell of a lot more San Antonio than I have, so I'll take your word for that. Although I will disagree with you. Like, I not necessarily disagree with you, but on tonight's game, like, you beat Houston in a blowout. This is where, for me, if I'm David Adelman, I'm challenging my team and their toughness issues, because I've watched them throughout this regular season lack some toughness, lack some ability to close out games, lack some ability to respond to a run. And this is where I'm saying this game is going to tell you a lot about you. And so I want to see them. I don't care about no rest. I don't care about they got into San Antonio at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't care. You walked over Houston. They were merely a speed bump on your way to San Antonio tonight. You got to come out with that energy, and this is a pivotal game. And I said in this 6-game stretch going in here with the Lakers and OKC and the Knicks and then San Antonio, I said they need to come out of this with a 4-2 record. And I'm going to stick with that. They've already lost 2, so now you got to go through the rest of this, through the Houston and you got L.A. one more time, and you got to go through this, and you got to win the rest of these games.
We've said all year long that if the Nuggets are fully healthy, we all feel pretty confident they can beat any team in the NBA in a 7-game series. All I'm saying is for a team that might be a half a game back of the 3 seed, but is also a game and a half back of the play-in that you mentioned, I'm open or not as afraid of the idea of having to go against a Thunder team in the first round if that's the way the bracket shakes out, because if they're fully healthy and they can maintain that up until the start of the postseason, I think that's the best punch that they can give a team like the Thunder. And if they do that and they end up having to play a Spurs team or a Rockets team in the second or third round, and injuries do start to compile in the postseason and reoccur the way they have all year, they're going up against a team that they have a better shot of beating injured than they do the Thunder.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're talking about the first round. That would be the play-in. I don't think they're going to fall there. To me, I don't want to be the 4-5 and have to play them in the second round. What's happened the last couple of years, fellas? You lost a Game 7 in the second round to Minnesota. You lost a Game 7 in the second round to OKC. All of a sudden, they're like the Avs. The second round has become their kryptonite. I think it's vitally, vitally important that you avoid Oklahoma City till at least the Western Conference Finals to get over that mental block of the second round. Because the second round, like it or not, has become a thing for the Nuggets the last couple of years.
Well, I just look at you want to play the best of the best. You want to do that in the conference championship.
Yes.
And that's where I am. And by the way, from a ratings bonanza, like how about if the Western Conference Finals is the Nuggets and OKC, I mean, you want to talk about that? That's must-watch television.
It's going to do big numbers.
Yeah.
And getting a ticket to Ball Arena would be a lot of fun for a lot of Nuggets fans. And you mentioned Aaron Gordon got hurt. I mean, he grabbed that hammy in Game 6 last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be another thing. If you don't play him till the Western Conference Finals, are we going to be holding our breath on AG's health? Can he stay healthy for the next 3 months?
That's a huge question, and remains to be seen, hopefully, because he's just a difference maker. Even with 0 points last night, he's a difference maker.
Yeah. He opened up the floor. All right, tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K bracket challenge presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it! But don't wait. Entries close before tip-off a week from today, March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. All right, Mark's Idaho Vandals making some history. That and a little Avs talk to close the show coming up next.
Tournament time is here, and so is your shot at $5,000. Head to DenverSports.com/bracket to enter our 5K bracket challenge presented by Bryant, Colorado. Think you can pick the perfect bracket? Prove it, but don't wait. Entries close before tip-off on March 19th. That's DenverSports.com/bracket. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention families of loved ones in nursing homes, whether past or present. If you believe your loved one suffered abuse or neglect while living in a nursing facility, listen closely. You may be entitled to significant financial compensation. Across the country, nursing homes have been cited for unsafe conditions, understaffing, and failures that put residents at serious risk. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, medical neglect, malnutrition, and unexplained injuries can happen when facilities fail to protect those in their care. If you believe your loved one suffered abuse of any kind while in a nursing home, you may have the right to pursue justice. Speaking up could help protect your loved one and prevent the same harm from happening to others. Call our Nursing Home Abuse Helpline now for a free and confidential claim review to see if your case may qualify for substantial compensation. Call now. Time to file may be limited.
Call 800-711-4497. That's 800-711-4497. 800-711-4497.
Hey, Brandon Stokley here. Winter might be hanging on, but you know Colorado. Warm one day, freezing the next. And trust me, summer is coming in hot. Beat the rush with an early bird air conditioner tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of March. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX, Rocks, Heating and Air.
Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040, the husband and wife law firm where you don't get passed around to a law clerk or some call center overseas. You always get to meet directly with me and my lovely wife, Kimberly. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
SodaWeightLoss.com is state-of-the-art, and SodaWeightLoss.com helped me lose 60 pounds a few years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. Why? I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. I had a real nutritionist there to help me along the way through my journey. I joined Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. You want to lose that weight? 1-866-800-SODA. Online at SodaWeightLoss.com. They are there for you like they were there for me. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Having trouble sleeping? Visit Mattress Firm during the Upgrade Your Sleep sale. Their sleep experts will help find your perfect bed. They make sleep easy.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by Waterloo Turf Denver. Get your Saturdays back.
Denver Sports is your home for Broncos free agency. Stay locked into 104.3 The Fan and head to DenverSports.com for up-to-the-minute news on the latest Broncos moves. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Subtle intimidation.
Had to give Ty the look.
You did. I was
gave
wondering.
Ty a little bit of a like.
I was wondering what you were doing.
It was a little quizzical look.
Skill debating.
You didn't think I was going to flip it on your head like this. See
Yeah,
how I
you're
did
coming
that?
back at me. I
Right.
like this.
You
This is
regret
good.
this now.
And plenty of pet peeves.
Put your phone in your pocket and you never go back and get it. It is a source of so much frustration for Mark. It drives him crazy.
It's Stokley and Evans with Mark Schlereth on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Final segment here on a Thursday. It's been so much fun flowing by. He's Richie Carney. He's Mark Schlereth. I'm Will Peterson. Handing it off to Cecil and Josh here in about 15 minutes. But before we do, Mark, your Vandals, man. Idaho back in the news. Fill us in on what's going on, the excitement, and the late, great Irv Brown has a tie to this as well, Denver radio legend.
Yeah, so the last time the Vandals men's team made the NCAA tournament, and they went to the Sweet 16, I believe. It was 1982, and the Vandals were in the tournament, and their first win in the tournament in 82, Irv Brown called the game.
So
I think
cool.
it was against Iowa.
Okay.
And so, anyhow, really cool. Irv Brown, legend here in Denver, but legend, referee, calling games, doing all the things he did, the years he spent here on the Fan. Really cool. Andrew Mason, our own Andrew Mason, posted something on Twitter that I found. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched one Idaho Vandal basketball game all season long, but they won their tournament, their Big Sky tournament or whatever conference. I don't even know what conference they're in, and they're going, and they're going to the tournament. So really cool, both the men's and the women's team. And when I was at Idaho years ago, the women's team was a top 20 team all the time. They had a really good women's team. So we used to go to the women's games because they were before the guys' games. We'd go to the women's games, watch the women play basketball, and then we would leave and go to the corner club and have a few and play some shuffleboard.
Take a final exam, maybe.
Yeah,
You used to
exactly.
Take them in the bars.
That has happened.
All right, well, we can't wait to see Mark's bracket when he's got 15-seeded Idaho upsetting 2-seed whoever, SEC
Arizona,
team,
yeah.
insert here. Richie, when it comes to the Avalanche, as we finish up here on a Thursday, Greg Wyshynski of ESPN.com came out with an article about overreactions to the 2026 NHL trade deadline, and one of the ones he highlighted, in fact, the very first one was, quote, the Avalanche are going to win the Stanley Cup, and his verdict, in all caps lock, not an overreaction. You take a look at the odds. The Avs are now plus 290 to hoist Lord Stanley. You got Carolina in the mix, Tampa Bay in the mix, Vegas, Edmonton, of course, Dallas and Minnesota as well. What do you make of after adding Nazem Kadri, he's the big addition, and Nicholas Waugh, and of course Kulak as well, that Wyshynski says it's not an overreaction that as we sit here on March 12th, the Colorado Avalanche are going to win the Stanley Cup.
It's not an overreaction. It's the expectation. We felt that way about this team going into this season, especially given the bad taste that was left in our mouths with the Dallas series last playoffs. And then they go out and have one of, if not the best, starts to a regular season in franchise history and borderline NHL history. And then we see every member of the Avalanche representing their country on the world stage at the Olympics just dominate for their respective teams. And the representation that they had in the USA-Canada gold medal game was a perfect example of that. And then they might have had a little bit of an Olympic hangover, a drop-off, but I feel like they're back to their winning ways. And at the trade deadline, McFarland does what he's always done. He wheels and deals. And he brought back Nas without having to trade Val, without having to ship off Ross Colton, while retaining some of the salary and not jeopardizing or putting themselves upside down from a cap perspective. They were a heavy contender going into the trade deadline. They brought back Nas. They made the other moves that they made with Waugh and the defenseman that you mentioned. There should be no expectation other than they have a better chance and should be higher expectations post-trade deadline than they were pre.
I think Nas fits in seamlessly. I think his first game he had an assist. He got the big standing ovation, so he fits seamlessly into the equation. The only thing that will derail the Avs from winning a cup, two things: injuries, obviously, that's always for everybody.
Yep.
Is goaltending. Like I just look at them from a goaltending standpoint and say, do you have what it takes? And I think Chris McFarland making the moves he made was part of that was an admission that our goaltending isn't great. And so we're going to have to outscore people. Mm-hmm. And this is how they won a cup several years ago with Darcy Kemper. But that's the one thing that concerns me. And you heard it in the voice of Jared Bednar after they lost the other night to the Edmonton Oilers, talking about Wedgwood, talking about those are three shots. He gave up 3 goals in 4 shots. You got to make those stops. And so do they have a goaltending controversy? I clearly think Wedgie's the better player, and I think that's the direction they have to go. And so we'll see. I don't know, but we'll see. But that would be my one major concern for the Avs, whether they hoist that Lombardi or not, is do they get solid goaltending through the playoffs?
The Lombardi?
Oh, what I said, Lombardi? Yeah,
Lord Stanley's Cup.
Lord Stanley's, but I got football on my mind.
No, I get it. But you mentioned Blackwood. He was real shaky against the Stars. Real shaky. Got pulled after 4 goals, 11 shots. Wedgwood comes in, steals that game. Avs win 5-4 in a shootout. The other night against Edmonton, they were great chances, Richie, but he didn't make any saves where it felt like he was standing on his head.
No.
How much longer can Jared Bednar get away with this, they're 1A, 1B, we're rotating thing? Because to me, when I go into the playoffs, fellas, I want to know who the guy is. Yeah. And I understand when Kemper got poked in the eye and he was a Pirate, Frankie had to come in, and we all remember being at the parade and the Frankie chants. I don't love that strategy of going into the playoffs with 2 goalies. I think who you start round 1, game 1, unless he gets hurt or unless he struggles, he should be your goalie for the postseason. And to me right now, that's Scott Wedgwood.
Yeah, and they can say whatever they want and be deceptive and subterfuge the way they are with injuries and hockey and all that stuff. I think Blackwood is that guy. Scott Wedgwood's been, who he's been, and he was brought in to...
You like Blackwood better than Wedgwood, just to be clear.
I think that's who they will end up going with. Okay. Scott Wedgwood, to me, it's interesting because Scott Wedgwood has not been a top-tier starting goaltender for the majority of his career, and I think there's a reason why. Now, that being said, when Blackwood was hurt, who was brought in and paid to be the starter, by the way, Wedgwood filled in as admirably as anybody could, and I believe at the start of the season for a good chunk of time led the NHL in save percentage. I think he got snubbed from being left off of Team Canada, and I understand that both guys are going to have games that you can point to. You see, that's why he can't be the guy, or see, that's why he should be the guy. Do you ask me how much longer they can get away with it? They can probably get away with it up until the start of the postseason because they just don't have to make.
Sure, you got to make sure you win the Central, but I would agree
and do those things. I'm still not convinced that they're going to go with Wedgwood over Blackwood, even if they should, in our eyes.
So, Mark, I guess the $1 million question is cup or bust. We throw that out there a lot. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they got to win it. If they don't, are major changes coming? I've never called for Jared Bednar's job.
Right.
I'm a big Bedsy guy. But even I fear about his future if they flame out in the first or second round.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. If they flame out in the first, second round, you're going to make a change. And what's the easiest thing to change is your coach, right? I mean, that's going to be what it is. And not that it's Bedsy's fault. And like I told you, I've got a guy, insider, a former player that I talked to. I've got several guys that I talked to that were former NHL players that are buddies of mine. And it said, "Hey man, I think the Avs win 2 more cups after the first one if they have a top 10 goaltender. That they are that talented hockey club that they ultimately, and if they don't win a cup this year, and they are the odds-on favorites, I think it's going to come down to lack of goaltending, and the guy that'll pay the price is Bedsy.
Fair or not, that could be the case. All right, fellas, it was a lot of fun. It flew by. You guys want to do it again tomorrow?
I'm game.
All right.
Might as well.
Sounds good. The Dayquil will still kick in on Stoke, and we will be here. It's Dover and Cecil coming up next.
Calling all wrestling fans. Now's your chance to win your way into the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. First, head to DenverSports.com/Superfan to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. It's the Superfan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here from my friends at Gravina's Window Center of Littleton. Over 52 years been serving the Colorado community, and I've been around long enough to know the difference between tough talk and real quality. When it comes to windows and doors and siding, it is real quality, and that's why I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton. Right now, you can get 25% off Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows, 8 times stronger than vinyl, perfectly built for Colorado's change of weather. You also get 20% off of James Hardy siding, engineered to resist hail, fire, moisture, and woodpeckers. And you can invest wisely in your home with 12 months, no interest, no payments. Guys, not going to get better than that. Schedule your free consultation with Gravina's Window Center of Littleton, 303-794-0490, or at windowsforyourhome.com. Remember, guys, right now, you can get 25% off Infinity by Marvin fiberglass window, 20% off of James Hardy siding, and 12 months, no interest, no payments. Come on, guys. Now's the time. Schedule that free consultation. They're a phone call away, 303-794-0490, or as always, online at windowsforyourhome.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business.